All right, and we're live. Hello out there in YouTube. Anybody who may be watching this game now, which doesn't look like there is anybody yet, but I'm hopeful. Or if you're watching it later on, welcome back to the Caldera. It's been a fair piece since we have played last. So I'll go ahead and do some business as usual. Just as a word of warning, this is a game between adults. There will be cursing. There will be all kinds of mature type topics, so if that kind of thing offends you, please go ahead and close the video now. Thank you very much for giving us a try.
What if it offends my character?
Your character, or like your character sheet character?
My character sheet character.
Oh, well, fuck that guy.
I'm pretty sure this game would offend him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it does offend him. I think he's made that clear. Anyways, yeah, a large part of the flavor from this game I adopted from a graphic novel called The Sixth Gun. It's a very, very kick-ass little put-together book, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you're into this sort of genre, this kind of setting. It's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's the Wild West with plenty of fantasy kind of draped over the top of it. So I guess what we will do first is go to introductions. Alex, why don't you take us out?
My name is Brother Utility. I'm a Swiss Army prophet, I guess. But no, seriously, my character is Brother Cutter. He is he is basically just trying to learn all he can about the history of the place, and also as much as he can about magic. And he believes both in the Durathian religion and the Luzite religion.
Excellent. Thank you. And we will go with Dan.
Let me hit my mute button there. All right, so I'm playing Daryl Cade, Vengeance Paladin Extraordinaire. He is a reclaimer. He was sent to the Caldera to bring back Corporal James Travis back to the army, but through some finagling, it worked out that he's still with the party. And I'm still around, hanging out, trying to make sure magic doesn't get in the wrong hands and bringing Luce's light from the barrel of a gun.
Excellent. Perfect. And let's see who's next. Estevez, Padre Estevez.
Hello, I'm Derek. I am playing Padre Estevez, our friendly cleric of Luz, who is on a mission to bring the Lord's word to the Caldera. And in his own estimation, he nearly converted another god last session, so he's feeling pretty happy.
Yep, excellent. All right, and Eagle Witness.
Hello, everyone. I am Eli Kurtz, and I am playing Eagle Witness tonight, a Durathian brave who is always trying to fulfill the will of the eagle who flies on the horizon.
Excellent. And Mad Dog.
My name is Michael. I'm playing Mad Dog. He is a halfling rogue smuggler who fancies lots of guns, but mainly dynamite. So I'm hoping to find something to blow up tonight. Maybe some of you even.
if the past tells us anything, at least.
Well, you almost killed one of my characters that way.
And then I think in a little while later, our last player will be joining us, Brian, who is playing pick a first name person here because he changes his name every time. But he is the one that Daryl Cade was referencing. So, with any luck, he will join us midstream here. And yeah, I can't think of anything else that I'm leaving out, unless you guys have anything to add.
Just a general question of what the heck's going on.
Oh, a recap. Yes. Okay. So The last session, you guys saw a storm that was brewing on the horizon. And your spirit animals, those of you that have them, were drawn to it, compelled towards it. You rode out to see what was going on well into Shondo territory, which the Shondo are they're not super nice people. They are a Durathian tribe that are known for cannibalism and killing people, women and children included, just because they have definitely not taken kindly to the Eastern presence here in the Caldera. But they also were kind of dicks beforehand. Even the other Durathian tribes don't usually get along with them either. So you rode deep out into Shondo territory, and kind of near the center of the storm, kind of when you rode into the eye, you saw a minotaur who was kind of backed into a corner and had a lot of other dead minotaurs kind of scattered around him. And a group of these Shondo braves had kind of surrounded him and were beating him up pretty bad, but he was giving them a fight. So you guys jumped in on the Minotaur's side and ended up saving him, killing all the Durathians that were around. And afterwards, the storm kind of calmed a little, and you saw a very bizarre looking individual seated on the ground. And it looked like an old Durathian woman, but she had horns, which some of the Durathians do have horns, but they're not usually quite as prominent or large as hers were. And in addition to the horns, there was one small other detail that kind of stood out, in that she had 4 arms. So the party kind of sat down and talked with her for a little bit. And you kind of got the sense that she wasn't exactly what she might have seemed. And after kind of learning that it has been, I guess you could call it prophesized, that you're supposed to go after Curtis Caldwell, she then disappeared into the sky. So that was where we left off last session. From what I can remember, and a little bit I have talked to Mike about it, it sounds like we did do XP last time. So we should all be caught up on that front. And I figured, again, I was talking with Derek a little while ago about where we were going to be starting exactly. But instead of starting right on the tail end of what just happened, unless there's any kind of business that you guys need to try to take care of, I figured we would start with your arrival back in town. Excellent. So I'm assuming that you guys probably went back to Wayward Gallows?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
So this kind of in your...
That's the nearest settlement, right?
HQ. I think you guys actually headed out here from Mournful Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll get the map up here in just a second.
We headed here because there's a mage right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know-
we were taking the rail around.
Yeah.
Long way around by way of the
Oh, that's right.
military depot spot.
Yeah.
Assuming though that assuming that we have time to get back home, I don't know why we wouldn't go there.
I think it's backwards though from the direction we were headed.
Well, I think we were.
because we were gonna go on from there to go somewhere else.
Yeah, you guys were headed south.
Like the mission something.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the damn map here.
Well, I think we can do something else though, because the god lady pretty well told us that Caldwell was evil and a werewolf. So I don't think we want to do the same plan we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mad Dog might.
Well, yeah, several of us had no intention of him taking that, getting that item fair and clean anyway. So,
Well,
Right.
we at least need to give it to him because that was the agreement that we had. But we can take it back from him after.
Eagle Witness isn't that honorable.
And we signed up for a job though.
Yeah,
Once a
Brother
night,
Cutter was no part of that agreement.
Okay.
Daryl wasn't even here.
All right. So, yeah, you guys were talking about you're here in Mournful Valley.
Yeah.
And Wayward Gallows is quite a ways back out here. You guys are probably about like out here, somewhere around this mound, which is kind of to the east of you guys now. So Mournful Valley was here. You guys were talking about taking the railroad, the rail all the way down to Horizon, and then coming through Godsend, Atticus's Descent, Overlook Mission, and then Partridge's Push is a little bit over here. See if I can get to the larger. Okay.
Yeah,
Here's Overlook Mission. There's Partridge's Push out here.
Mm-hmm. Quite a ways.
Mm-hmm. It was one of the first established westward settlements.
But I mean, if we, instead of going south, if we went back to Wayward Gallows, we could take the green line out to Partridge's Push.
Mm-hmm. The only problem with that is that does take you guys right back through Scattergun Flats.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And your names are kind of mud there right now. That's where the werewolves were.
Well,
there's also a machine gun and turret or encampment that I would like to try and make friends with down in New Horizon.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to going there.
Okay. Horizon is a very big city. It's a port town, and it's very bustling. Almost think Boston, probably around the actual frontier days. Maybe even New York.
I know nothing about either of those cities.
Well, have you ever seen them depicted in a movie like Gangs of New York?
I don't watch movies.
Well, all right then. This line of questioning is done.
I watch Star Wars.
There's definitely not an equivalent of Star Wars. Well, okay, Mos Eisley, I guess.
Okay, so there's cantinas there. Got it.
Scum and villainy.
Yeah.
And there's going to be sand people nearby. Okay, let's go there.
Kinda. All right. So, put my pretty face out here again. Okay, so the question is, Horizon, heading out there, you want to like get on the train as soon as you can, or are you gonna take care of some business here in town before you want to head out?
Do we talk with our Minotaur friend to see why he was being attacked?
He kind of just relayed to you that he was that they were making a pilgrimage across the Shondo territory, and the Shondo set upon them, and he was the only one who survived, apparently.
Oh, where is he going?
He tells you that he was headed to a place that's kind of northwest of Horizon. It's a place that most of you probably aren't familiar with, but Eagle Witness can probably tell you.
Does he want to come with us?
Sure. Yeah, he agrees to accompany you back.
I mean, does he want to like get on the train with us?
Can he fit on the train?
He is the train.
He says, I can fit on the train, yes, but they make me ride in the back.
Eagle Witness and Mad Dog can show him how to get on.
Well, if you'll go, I'll ride in the back with you.
Well, Eagle Witness would probably know something about how Minotaurs feel about being relegated to the back of a train, right?
I would say so. Absolutely.
How do they feel about that sort of thing? I feel like it can't be very good.
No, again, the Durathians kind of have a pretty strong connection with a lot of the creatures that are more or less fey. And in this setting, Minotaurs are more fey than they are in other D&D settings. So like satyrs and dryads and treants and Minotaurs and stuff like that have a lot of tribal Native American kind of flair to them in this setting. So along with all of those races, the Durathians and the elves are all kind of kindred spirits. Being put in the back for a Minotaur is about the same as it is for you, except that it does actually make logistical sense for him.
So there is a level of practicality at least.
At least a bit.
Okay, well, I think Yeah, I mean, if people are trying to convince this Minotaur to get into the back of this train, Eagle Witness, no. Well, you should not ask him to demean himself like this.
I'll go with him. Like it's not a big deal, but I would really like a chance to talk to him for several hours.
Is there a car on the train that is owned by the church? Just taking a shot here.
Well, even
not
if
usually.
he doesn't travel with us on the train, you will have had plenty of hours getting back to town to have whatever conversation you want. Like we're way out in the middle of nowhere when we started. We're just kind of plot skipping that.
That is true. Yep. All
right. Well, then I would try and record everything he knows about his own people's history.
Every footstep he took.
It's very detailed because Minotaurs don't forget much.
So like maybe 2 books worth of stuff. I don't know.
Depends on how much detail you would write it down, and I would guess. But I mean, if you're going to write down everything, then it would be quite a bit.
I'm asking him to go into detail.
And that's why I want him on the train with us, so I can spend it's going to take a long time to get there.
You get quite a story. You get 2 books worth of material that you can work on and save for later, regardless of if he goes with you or not. Either one.
So a church car.
Okay, I rolled in. It was a 6. So no, this particular train does not have a Luzite car attached to it. They do exist.
It was actually separated from the rest of them.
That's perfect. Absolutely. That's perfect.
Then the Padre will sit. I guess you're talking to they're in the horse cars, right?
Yeah, that's probably where they would have to go if they're going to ride the train.
The Padre will sit with the Minotaur and give him a prayer book and tell him the good word of Luz.
He kind of grabs the book and he kind of turns it over in his hands a couple times. Says, "What is this bound in?"
Not cowhide, no.
He kind of brings it up to his nose and kind of this, big ring hanging out of his nose, and he kind of,
It's actually a papyrus scroll.
I don't know if I trust anything written in this book, but I cannot read.
That's okay. I will read it to you as we travel.
Perfect.
We don't have time for that. I have to write down every single thing about his history.
Oh my god.
So the poor Minotaur's time is torn between these 2 different literate souls. Okay, so you guys are heading out from Mournful Valley to Horizon. Okay. The train ride will cost you, those of you who are riding in the train proper, it'll cost you 10 gold.
You mean those of us that are paying, right?
Those of you that are legitimately riding in the train proper. I'm sorry. I will add words to the sentence as I go. It will cost you 10 gold pieces. For those of you who are legitimately riding in the back, it's only a gold piece.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, so I'll pay that. I won't steal this time.
I seem to have used all my money for my shiny new pistol. Would anybody like to spot me?
I'll give you a gold if you come chill in the back with the horses.
I'm down with that.
Okay, is anybody riding up front?
Yes.
I'd like to be riding up front, but I don't want to be paying for it.
Yes. Luckily for Mad Dog, it looks like the same conductor is on this train that was on the last one, and doesn't seem to want to push the issue too much with you. So he very, very politely tells you he's going to let this one slide.
He's learning respect.
Okay, so all of you board the southbound AA Western, and it begins trotting down to the ocean, which some of you may or may not have ever seen before. And it takes you a while, but eventually, after a number of hours, you do finally pull into the station at Horizon. The last probably 2 miles or so, you've been able to see parts of Horizon as you were kind of coming down in elevation slowly towards the coast as things kind of flattened out. And Horizon is a big place. It's probably one of the biggest places that most of you have seen, if not the biggest. And it is bustling, to say the least. There's people going all over the place. And you even see what you're fairly certain is a couple of magic-powered vehicles, like carriages that don't have horses drawing them, and they look as though they are driving without any means of propulsion whatsoever. There's all kinds of magic that's even on display here.
I nudge Eagle Witness and say, "Invisible horses."
Electricity, I say.
And there's all kinds of magic on display. So there's signs that are glowing and making noise with illusory magic, and things that like step out from storefronts to greet you and try to hawk wares to you, except when you get closer you realize it's merely just an illusion. There's all kinds of crazy and whimsical and wonderful things here in this place, but you came here with a little bit of a purpose. So you disembark from the train. Your Minotaur friend thanks you very much and says goodbye and good luck. That he is heading out to finish his pilgrimage. And you guys are kind of left to your own devices in the town of Horizon.
During the travel, I would have told him what we were doing and fighting evil werewolves and seeing if he would help us.
He's on a pilgrimage.
Yeah, Eagle Witness would have shut that down. I understand the importance of a pilgrimage, even if the religious guy doesn't.
It's not my religion.
He does apologize that he has to turn you down, Padre Estevez, but he does in fact turn you down. He tells you that the pilgrimage that he is on is of a great matter of importance to him.
Ask him if there's anything he needs, anything I could give him that would help him, since he lost his people.
He tells you to continue your prayers to the gods, the old gods.
And the old gods are going to look out for you then?
And he kind of looks up to the sky, kind of thoughtfully for a moment, and he says, "I truly hope so, yes."
Luz will watch over you, my son.
He kind of chuckles. He says, "Be careful if you carry that book." And he kind of puts a big, huge, fat finger where your religious book is tucked away. He says, "Whenever you carry that around, my people, others may not understand."
Luz will protect me no matter what.
Let us hope so.
This is Eagle Witness chuckling, by the way.
Eli asked in the chat what his name was, just for record. We'll go ahead and say it out loud. His name is Sablehorn. He is a kind of dark-colored, black, almost minotaur.
Ask him if he has enough food.
He tells you that he will find some here in the city before he gets back out on the trail.
All right. I ask him if he has enough money to buy enough food.
He says, "Sometimes I have to barter."
I am going to go ahead and give him, like, I don't know. Let's go with 15 gold.
I mean, okay. I'll just reach in my pocket and hand him a handful of gold. Tell me how much I hand him.
Roll me 2d20.
Ooh, boy.
I barely have small hands because 6.
They're really big coins. So yeah, you guys give him some money. He is very thankful for it. He takes the coins from you. You can see that he slips them into a medicine bag that he has hanging from his hip.
Well, I explained to him that that's payment for these notes that I took.
He says, "I don't understand how words can be worth gold, but if you say so."
I said to people who care about history, words are the most important thing.
And he kind of reaches up and kind of pats you on the top of the head as if kind of like a child. And he says, "I do not understand your people, but I suppose you are okay."
I decided to just take that in stride.
So whenever Sablehorn finally turns to leave, Eagle Witness is going to walk with him for just a little while. And once they're, like 15 feet or so away from the rest of the group, he's going to say, Sablehorn, it was an honor to meet you. Please, may your spirit guide you toward the old gods.
It is good to see someone of the old religion who is not forgotten what we were taught.
I wish I knew more. If we had had more time to ourselves on the train, perhaps you could have taught me, but I will continue to learn.
This is good. Maybe we will meet again. Witness of the Eagle.
I would like that, Sablehorn. Thank you.
He kind of gives a snort.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, I'm going to use my ventriloquist ability, and I'm going to make a cry of an eagle. Ha yes. Love that feat.
He laughs, and he says, "Wonderful. Yes, you are practiced in the arts. This is good."
Radical.
Excellent. I just realized.
Oh, no,
Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
I was going to say, I use thaumaturgy to raise my voice and say, Eagle Witness, over here.
I have to get back now. Father's calling.
So he turns and he says, "Goodbye. I will see you again, I think." And then
Goodbye.
kind of turns and walks off to go secure supplies for heading back out on the trail.
All right. Yeah, the Eagle Witness returns, and he doesn't say anything to anybody, but he's ready to go.
Okay. Somebody was going to speak.
Yeah, Mad Dog's going to lay low the whole time being in Horizon because he's actually wanted here, especially at the docks.
Oh, all right then.
Nice.
So yeah,
Eagle Witness is going to keep an eye on Mad Dog.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That he's, yeah, because we're getting to be buds, and I'm going to let you do you, but I'm going to keep an eye on you.
That brings up something interesting.
Yes.
Dario was going to look for any bounties.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, there's kind of the usual stuff. People that you see frequently, they're, repeat offenders, kind of things for petty crimes, small stuff. And you see a couple of things that are definitely eye-catching, but they're way outside of where you are currently. Or, not only different counties, they're like 2 or 3 counties away. So for the most part, it seems to be kind of a bust. But then you catch one that's kind of partially covered by another one. And you kind of, lift the first one up to kind of look underneath. And you see it's a dwarf. And his name, if I talk slow You know,
It'll get there.
I might be able
Ariel's
Come on, hurry it up, Flash.
to find
Ariel's reading really slow.
picture before I have to. Never mind. Okay, it's just gonna have to wait a second. I tried.
But dusty, old, and faded.
No,
I'm trying.
where is it?
I'm trying gingerly not to rip the other one. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's actually written in Dwarvish as well, or Dwarven. So you're getting out your
I have it written down.
Dwarven to English dictionary, and
I actually do know Dwarvish.
You see, it is a dwarf. I won't be able to show you his picture, but I will at least be able to give you his name.
Well, you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Exactly. His name is Dagram Bolton. Dagram Bolton. You kind of go to tear that one off so that you can have it with you, and you see another one underneath it that kind of catches your attention, and it's got a very familiar face on it.
Mad Dog.
It is Mad Dog.
All right. What are the charges?
yeah, what am I worth?
You tell me what the charge. You tell me what the charges are, Mike. That's your ball.
Soliciting an undercover deputy.
Yeah, like there's a whole laundry list.
The bottom of the page actually folds out
back on itself.
Of course.
Theft of dynamite. Using dynamite to blow up the bank. Not stealing any of the money, just burning it.
Destruction of private property, theft,
Harassment of known constables.
Yeah, and impersonating the law.
all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Cheating at cards. Public urination. Public drunkenness.
It's a pretty lengthy list. It's probably almost as tall as Mad Dog actually is.
Oh, nice.
He actually sunk a ship. That was in port.
It's one of those big paddle wheel boats.
Yeah, like he was trying to steal something off of it, and
about 3 or 4 seconds into reading it, before you get to really the juicy charges stuff, like you can see it's coming, but all of a sudden the paper just bursts into flames. And Joe, kind of, as he passes by beside you, just kind of sneezes and oops.
You can start to see some of the rest of the bounties around it that are now starting to kind of catch as well.
I'll pat those out.
You managed to get it under control. It takes you a couple seconds. It gets you more than one sideways glare.
Now, you see,
just because you take your poster away does not mean you're not a criminal, sir. That is not how this works.
For real.
People are starting to make their way over towards you now. Several of them have badges on.
I'm going to immediately duck into the crowd and just move on my way.
Okay, give me a stealth.
Gladly. That's not super great. 12?
It's probably good enough. Or they could roll an 18.
ooh.
Okay, so yeah, they kind of see you head off, and like one of them kind of breaks off after towards you, kind of, hey, kind of pushing people. Where are you going? You need to come back here.
I am going to obviously not be the one that person is talking to, because he couldn't possibly mean me, and just kind of continue on my way.
It takes you a bit.
It's a crowded place.
It is. It takes you a bit, but you actually manage to come by a church just as it's letting out, and kind of you're helped along a bit by disappearing into the crowd of the throng of the congregation that's coming out.
How about it's going in, and he happens to meet the Padre there.
Or it's going in. And so you actually duck into church trying to avoid this person.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
All right, what happened?
Jeremy got kicked.
Okay, cool. I was like,
Yeah.
at least I'm not the only one that lost him. 'Cause all of a sudden,
Well, you see,
It's not a session of Caldera if Jeremy doesn't lose connection.
it's hilarious. I could probably live with all the charges. I was trying to formulate a way to get my money.
the funny thing is, Mad Dog probably would have been cool with that.
I imagine he's broken out of the prison a couple of times.
Exactly.
I just had a bad experience with your particular brand of law enforcement most recently.
That is true. It worked out in the end, and I'm beginning to trust that.
For sure, for sure. But I was like, man, I've got Firebolt. There's no, yeah.
Yeah. There we are.
It's not a Caldera game unless
Yeah, it's an official session.
out of the damn session. It has been doing just fine in some of the other games I've run and played in. It's just something about you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Bunch of troublemakers, miscreants.
It's all y'all's fault. No. All right.
What was his bounty?
Okay, what was the last time you guys heard?
Step into church.
Yes.
Okay. So we didn't miss too much. All right. Mad Dog's bounty. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. We're going to say it was 600 gold pieces.
Oh, yes.
Respectable.
Okay.
Daryl can probably live with all of the charges, being that he's been around Mad Dog, and yes, it's destructive, but it's not anything terribly egregious against, like, the church or the state. It's just general rabble-rousing and possibly some higher crimes, but...
Yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing
But fire.
Yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing that that a reclaimer who's out in the Caldera for long enough would probably be willing to overlook, as that's just kind of the way things are around here, you know?
Exactly. So Daryl is talking his way out from whatever crowd has joined.
I'm gonna show up and
I don't know what happened. It caught flames. It's dry out here. You guys understand.
They once they see that you're a reclaimer, they kind of back down a bit. They're like, oh, okay, all right. Just watch it around here, okay? We know you're big deal back east and everything, but just
That's what I'm trying to do. Thank you all very much.
all right. They kind of make their peace and leave. Meanwhile, Padre Estevez, you kind of talking to this parishioner, and you happen to look up and you see Joe walk into the church with the congregation.
Ah, my son! I have a spot up here for my companions. Come sit with me.
I am going to immediately repeat this same motion of ducking into the crowd, only in reverse this time.
Perfect. And yeah, you noticed before you ducked out.
With the same 12.
You noticed just before you ducked out where Padre Estevez motioned for, I have seats for my companions. There was, in fact, a completely empty pew up front. Apparently, he has reserved for his compatrons.
he does every time. Nobody ever shows up, but he keeps trying.
That's just normal at every church. No one sits in the first pews.
Perfect.
Can I, if he's doing a stealth, can I try to notice where he goes?
Yeah, absolutely. You can have a perception roll.
Let's see. I'm pretty good at that. Let's see. So I got a 13.
Okay.
Yep, good enough.
So yeah, you almost lose him for a second, and then you realize that he hadn't really disappeared. He actually just snatched the bonnet off of some woman. He put it on. And you got to see him.
I'll go up to him and I'll grab his arm and say, "Oh, good thinking. It's good to cover your head when you're in the Lord's church." And I will strong arm him up to the front pew.
Okay, does he, like, seeing me, does he really cover the distance between the front of the church and the back of the church quicker than I can duck out of there?
I would imagine
Why
he
is it
covers and
back?
catches you outside.
Okay. I'm gonna take the bonnet off my head, replace my hat, and pat him on the back. Oh yes, of course. I didn't see you there, and then start walking towards the church. Oh God, look, evildoers! And get absolutely not the response that I wanted at all. And then I'm gonna wave down the constable. Hey, were you looking for me?
He's kind of standing in front of like a dressmaker, kind of looking up and down the street, shaking his head, looking like he's confused as to where in the hell you could have gone. And then you start yelling, and he kind of looks, raises the brim of his hat so he can see better. And, hey, there you are. And he kind of starts shuffling towards you.
Sorry, Padre. This guy was calling for me earlier, and I wasn't sure it was me, but I kind of think maybe it was.
Yeah, that is good. Be a good son of Luz and talk with the constable. That'll be good. I will see you after.
So now that the police have gotten you out of church, you get to have a nice little chit chat with them. But it goes much the same as it did with Dariel. They end up letting you go, not realizing, luckily for you, that you had used magic in order to set ablaze the bounty on the job board. Okay, so what are the rest of you up to during these shenanigans?
I'm in the seediest-looking pub, staring at a one-eyed orc, saying, "How did you lose your eye?"
You guys just want to get up to all kinds of fun here, don't you? All right. So yeah, this
threatened with the end of the story. We got to get it in while we can.
So this half orc, who you might be guessing is actually probably closer to 3/4 orc, is not only just missing an eye, he's also missing his hand and his leg, all on that same side of his body.
But I already know that he lost his leg to a shark and his hand to a rock. But this eye, what happened, man?
It was the first day with the hook. No, I'm just kidding. That's a terrible joke. Anyways,
You don't want to
It got me. Yeah, that was awful.
Grade A.
I write that down. That's what he said.
All right, so yeah, he doesn't look very pleased that you have these kinds of probing questions. But he doesn't look like he's doing anything about it, at least for the time being.
And so I say, all right, and the ship you came on, what would you slurred it last time? What was it called?
The Bonnie Lass.
Yes, see, I didn't catch it. What was the first word?
Bonnie. The Bonnie Lass.
And tell me more about the country you were just in.
Says, do you ever stop talking?
Yeah, I sleep sometimes, about 4 hours a day.
He actually reaches over and grabs the mostly full mug out from in front of the guy that's actually passed out on the bar next to him and slides it over in front of you and says, drink this. At least you'll be doing something else with your mouth.
And I just pound it really quickly and say, right, so that country.
Excellent. Yeah, you kind of slam it back, and it's not beer. At least you don't think it's beer. It doesn't taste like any beer you've ever had before. You're fairly certain that if you put a match to it, that it would probably light on fire.
Well, I'm not going to swallow a match anytime soon, then.
Probably a good practice in general. Okay. So, yes, you
He's going to miss the fire eating portion of the service at church, then.
Apparently. As well as the snake wrangling.
Man, Luz is awesome.
Oh, you guys have no idea.
You haven't even seen the casino yet.
I mean, you'd know this if you would come to church every once in a while.
We had to get rid of the cage girls, though.
Well, if that's what's going on, you've been a terrible shepherd of the flock in terms of actually accomplishing the recruiting mission. And shame on you, sir.
The church teaches us to be humble. We must downplay how awesome church is. There's still no cussing, though.
I just got a flashback of reading Stranger to Strange Land, but okay.
I am unfamiliar, but I'm glad that we referenced something. Makes it kind of legitimate. So, okay. Yes, Brother Cutter continues to interview / interrogate the half-orc. Is there anything else? Mad Dog said he was laying low. What's Eagle Witness up to? Oh, that's right. You're tailing Mad Dog. Okay.
Daryl wants to find Mad Dog.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Maybe he got into the back room of the church and is drinking all the sacrificial wine.
If I Mad Dog laying low, I mean, I'm gonna go meet all my contacts, see if there's anything going on.
Right.
Maybe steal a couple things.
Not super
Maybe blow up a couple, like the dock, or I don't know.
So yeah, you managed to stir up a little bit of trouble, especially for somebody who's not in town officially. Eagle probably has to pull your ass out of trouble at least once. I would think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll meet up with the Undertaker, see what's going on. I assume he's out of here.
I don't think he is. I think he's actually back in Wayward Gallows.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Were we okay? We originally had a plan of like using a casket to smuggle in magic items into the city. Are we still doing that?
Don't know.
I assumed we were.
Yeah, I had contacted the guy to get one together and get us a dead body and send it to a town that we were going to be in.
Okay. Yeah, this absolutely could be that town.
That could be there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm acquiring the dead body.
Interesting. Okay. I say interesting because this Dagram Bolton dwarf fellow that Dario picked up the bounty for, he actually belongs to a gang that is made up almost entirely of dwarves and those of dwarven descent. And they are called the Undertaker's Men. So that's an interesting little bit of connection there.
As part of the train ride in, since we were both in the train car itself, if I could have stolen a couple of minutes with Mad Dog, I would have seen if you knew of a contact in town or where we're headed, or somebody that you could, point me towards that would potentially be a forger.
First, you can't steal anything from Mad Dog. Second,
not even his time.
Not even his time.
I will point of his
I will offer whiskey. I'll buy it with whiskey.
Like a forger?
Yeah, somebody who can do a forgery for me.
Oh yeah.
Military papers in particular.
Sure. Yeah, I know a guy. I got a guy for that. I think that's actually part of my background. Is I've got a guy for that.
Perfect.
Yeah. So at some point, I would like to make introductions with him and get orders to inspect and audit the supply at the military substation that was here, specifically with regards to their armory.
Okay.
Just be ordered to do inventory checking and such at the armory itself.
Okay. I'm going to say that he's going to do it for you, but it's going to cost you 20 gold pieces.
Not a problem at all.
That's actually incorrect. It's going to cost you 40.
Yeah, I can still do that.
Oh, that's too good. I already gave you a point of inspiration. You're not getting another one. Not yet. Okay.
Is there a
Interesting.
library in the
All right.
town?
I would say so.
I'm going to go there and see if there's any books that I haven't read.
I would imagine there definitely are.
I've read all of the books at the town I grew up in.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely would have different volumes if they have overlap.
I'm
which I
going
probably
to
would.
try and see if I can't get a library card and borrow them.
Yeah, I don't know how it works in this era.
I think you'll have to get a forged library card because you're not from this town.
But you
Sounds
can
like
do
they're 40
A
gold.
water bill.
you can do whatever the equivalent of that is. Yes.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go into the library, and when nobody's looking, I'm just going to slip them into my bag of holding.
Okay.
Any book I haven't read, just all of them.
All right. Give me a general sleight of hand.
I will.
I hope they have run spot run.
Actually, I'm going to spend one of my 2 inspirations.
Fair enough.
Okay, that is 20 even.
Okay. One of them you think might have saw you. One of the librarians, but it's an elvish woman. She kind of stares at you for a minute, kind of with her eyes kind of narrowed.
I wave at her warmly, and I walk over to her.
And she says, "Can I help you?"
I ask her for a book that I know the library doesn't have.
The moment you start talking to her about other things, she completely apparently drops her suspicions and starts rambling on. You found somebody who actually talks more than Brother Cutter.
I grab my book and I start writing every interesting thing she says.
She's an elf, and she's an old elf.
I say, whoa, slow down, hold on. Okay, keep going.
So you get lots of material.
Good. I write everything down that I didn't already know.
Excellent. Okay. At some point, somebody, one of the 6 of you, I'll let you guys decide who that is. Not by volunteering others, please.
I'll do it.
I mean, I
Okay.
could do it if it's something
What
random
are
and
we doing?
obscure. I'm wandering around
I
interviewing
did not
random
tell
people.
you.
I'll be looking for Doggerham Bolton if I can't find Mad Dog.
Okay.
I'm wandering
Ties into that.
aimlessly, asking random people questions about history.
Well, this particular bit I'm looking for takes place in a saloon.
I was just in a saloon. I'll
I'm
go to
probably
another
not the
one.
best person to do it then.
What's that?
I'm probably not the best person to do it then.
Fair enough.
I'll
Okay.
do it.
So Daryl had said that he was going to be there, and we can say that Brother Cutter is there as well. You guys met for lunch or what have you one of the days, and you're in the saloon, and in one of the corners, it looks like there's a group of dwarves who have taken up residence in the place, and they're kind of crowded around one table playing a common dwarven game of chance that kind of involves throwing stones down on the table. A very loud, raucous game.
Do I know all of the rules, and have I played this game before?
You're from East?
Yes.
It's very possible, because Split Rock, which is the dwarven city, is much closer to the east. So it's possible if you've been there that you've probably at least, or if you've been in that area, you've at least seen it.
I'm going to just, anyways, creep closer to them with a book out, watching them. Slowly inching my way over to watch as they play.
Okay. Yeah, you do so. You get a couple of looks especially as you get quite a bit closer. Then you get to a certain point, and I mean, you'd have to worm your way through to actually get to the table. They get tight enough whenever you get close to the table. But Dariel, you unmistakably know one or two of these individual dwarves as other members of the Undertaker's men.
Perfect.
Although they're usually from Split Rock, or at least closer around there. So them being this far east is a little unusual. They're usually more in the counties of Bastion and Haven Falls. So this is pretty far out here.
This far west, you mean, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, this far west.
Okay.
Right.
I asked them if I can play with them.
Make a persuasion roll at disadvantage, please.
Oh, but I've got such good persuasion. Don't make me a disadvantage.
Hopefully it'll cancel out for you.
Wait, I know. And I pull out a like 20 gold piece size sack of money. And I say, I saw people play this game once. I don't really know the rules, though. Oh. The first, I don't even need to roll a second time. I rolled a 1.
No.
Dang it. I really wanted to play with them.
I will say in Dwarvish, excuse my friend here. He's a little overeager. He's not from here.
Better keep his mouth shut.
That's going to be a problem. But I will try to keep his mouth shut. You guys doing well at the game?
Some of us are. And one of them kind of starts laughing, and the others kind of throw like the equivalent of peanuts or pretzels or whatever at him.
Very nice. Would you mind if I play? I can stake it.
You can make a persuasion roll at disadvantage.
All right.
But if I aid him, he gets that goes away, right?
Not in this
15.
situation.
15.
Especially since you rolled a 1.
I rolled both 10s, so 15.
15 total. Okay. They kind of look at each other, and they all kind of eventually their eyes settle on the one that has apparently been winning. And he kind of shakes his head, scratches his beard, says, why not? His money spends all the same.
I steal Brother Cutter's satchel and stick it down on the table.
And I take it back and say, no? I say, excuse me, Brother Cade, you have to at least ask, rude.
Can I have some money, please?
That's right, you can, bitch.
You take my money and spend it. For some reason, my Dropbox is not updating, so I'm not able to access any of the shit that I had, which kind of pisses me off. But, c'est la vie. All right.
Oh, well.
So the one that you're sitting across, Daryl, you notice is in fact Daglin Bolton.
Ah, I do not betray that I know him.
Yeah, he hasn't noticed that you've either recognized him or apparently that you're a reclaimer.
Perfect. I try to hide that fact as much as I can out here.
Yeah. I'm gonna say you would probably definitely at this moment feel kind of like a sheep that just stepped into the wolf's den.
Yes.
Okay. So they start by kind of telling you the rules. You may or may not know them already, but they definitely go through them, and they go through them painfully slow. And more than just a little condescendingly.
Yep.
And then they start to actually bet and take money and start passing it around. So let's make we'll kind of base this off of the old gaming skill. So let's just do opposed wisdom checks.
All right.
I'm going to tell him, don't worry, Luz's got your back. And I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and grip it a little bit tighter than I need to and cast guidance.
Excellent. Does that give him advantage?
I think it gives him like
plus. He said a D4.
Yeah, D.
Oh, excellent. So it's like a local or a specialized bless.
That makes sense.
Let me
Thought it was
check
only
that real
plus
quick.
1.
Let me check that real quick.
I got it right here, duh. I forgot I've got my book open.
No, it is a D4.
Nice. Yay, learning rules.
Awesome.
So you
And I can only do it once.
I think so.
Yep.
That's fine. I'll keep my hand on your shoulder and I'll just keep pumping magical energy into you.
And it won't look weird at all.
Is that man petting that other man?
No, my hand is just staying on his shoulder and I'm watching him play. And I say, don't lose my fucking money. Don't lose my fucking money.
All right, wisdom here. Let's see if I even need this. Yeah, I'll go ahead and add it. Why not? All right, 11.
Okay, an 11. That was with the D4?
That was with the D4.
All right. You think you're doing all right on this first kind of go around. You're like, no, I got this. You know, I'm getting the hang of this. It's been a little while since I played this, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. And they completely shark you. They take in a fair portion. I'm going to say, let's see here. Okay, they take in 13 gold pieces on that first haul.
All right. 7 left. Lovely. One more round just for good time's sake.
Okay, one more wisdom check.
I don't mind.
You get the D4.
You guys are pretty fun. Am I getting another guidance on this one?
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
All right. That's off the table. Man, not rolling well tonight. 10.
You better spend some inspiration, buddy. You don't lose all my money.
That's right. I do have inspiration points. I'll go ahead and do that again.
Okay.
Just a D20, right?
Yeah, you can use the same D4 roll.
Cool. I really do that. That's better. 17.
That will do it. So you actually managed to win back 6 gold pieces.
Is that above the 20, or that's
It was back of that's out of the 13 that you had lost.
All right.
Where's the okay?
Lovely. So while we're casually playing the game here, I'll bring up. Any of you guys from back east?
They kind of glare at you for a second. They're like, yes, most of us are. Why you ask?
I'm just wondering how you guys like it out here. I'm actually from around there myself.
Well, it sucks, honestly.
I can certainly agree with that sentiment.
I have a question. Do I recognize any of these people?
Probably not. I mean, I don't think your character, until he got with his group, was necessarily into the illicit activities, was he?
Well, he has a level of rogue.
Okay. Well, then it's very possible that you may have rubbed elbows with a couple of them before. Probably not enough to know them by name.
Specifically, just that I know they're in a gang.
I would assume that you either heard so before you saw them, or Daryl may have said something to you before you guys went over to greet them. Or if not, you may have the sneaking suspicion at least.
Okay.
Would you guys have shared with me about this Undertaker plan and all that?
There's about a 40% chance that we did.
All right.
I am fine with saying that it is if you want your character to be in on it.
Trying to figure out how best.
If you know, I probably told you.
Yeah.
Just telling just because I like to talk.
Well, you would have had to find out from someone, because.
Oh no, yeah, Mad Dog let me in on. I'm sure of it.
Oh, of course. Let's see. All right. So I've got.
One of them says, "Yeah, we came out here to do a job," and one of them kind of elbows him in the ribs, probably a little harder than he needed to. What?
We're all out here on jobs, aren't we? I mean, hard to get by, honestly, out here.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth. Especially when you're a do-gooder. Kind of kicks him in the shin. Ow!
Oh, man. I cannot think of a good way to bring anything up.
So it kind of, the play in this gambling game that you're involved with kind of passes around the table till it kind of gets to the shit or get off the pot moment, the last call kind of thing. And it comes down to Dagger and Bolton, and he kind of, reaches some gold out, slides it over to match the pot, and he says, "There you are, Daryl Cade."
Ah, so you have heard of me. Can I ask from where?
Since there's a certain employer of ours that asked that we keep an eye out for you and your kind.
Which kind would that be?
The riffraff you're running around with.
Good. So, what else did your employer say? I know we've been trying to have some dealings with him.
You think you're gonna go up against and somebody like elbows him real hard, like right in the chest, and he kind of looks over and nods knowingly. Says, "You think you're gonna get involved in his business?"
Well, we would like to.
That sounds like the kind of work the Undertaker's men like to get up to.
Well, we can certainly work towards a mutual agreement. Make this work out for all of us.
He kind of looks to his men, looks back at you, and he says, "All right. So, you tell me what it is that you want with Caldwell. I go back to him and let him know everything that I found out from you. Maybe I didn't see you."
Let's see.
Oh, Caldwell, that guy.
One of them kind of...
Oh, Caldwell, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Why do you guys keep saying it?
Yeah.
He ain't the only law around.
Brother Cutter.
I'm not part of the law, guys.
No, you're not. All right, I'm gonna need some time here. So.
I'm really good at that game. Can I please play now?
They kind of look to you and they say, "I think we've maybe finished for today.
Yeah.
Lost our taste."
Dang it, because I was going to beat all you guys really bad, too. I show him this place where I've written down every single move everyone's made. See, because I know how to, pay attention.
They seem a little less impressed than they probably should be by how clearly meticulous you were with your note-taking. So are you pushing your way back from the table and taking your leave for the time being, or are you going to stick around for more conversation?
I'm trying to get this straight in my head. So Caldwell is the werewolf guy, right?
Oh, I am so sorry. Yeah, I forgot that you have missed a couple of sessions.
Yeah.
Would anybody care to fill in Dan? Because Daryl would very much be up to speed on this.
Okay. So, Caldwell, he's a werewolf. He wants to kill us. He told us to go get him a shield. We got it, but then we found out he's a bad guy. So, we don't really want to give it to him.
Right.
And also, we killed a whole bunch of his dead. But we're still coming to go give it to him, but not really because we're going to kill him.
Right. So really the play is we do want to give him the shield, but only as a pretense so we can find him.
Wait, are you guys just talking amongst yourselves? Or are you telling these?
Yeah. No, we're talking. This is Dan and Alex.
Yeah, this is
we're out of
character.
Okay.
I'm still being caught up right here. It's all cool. So yeah, I will still say that our agreement with Caldwell still stands. We do have the item he requested, but it is for his hands only.
I lean in and whisper, and we didn't mean to kill those guys. We didn't know.
You shut up his town. You put bullet holes in the church.
Okay, now hold on. No, we didn't. The guy who did that
Killed my priest.
That actually, I joined this riffraff on the tail end of that, so none of that was my doing.
Yeah, and I'm just with them because the spirits and gods told me to be.
So is this guy. Honestly, we actually came in at a later date with this riffraff, and we're trying to actually keep them honest. Well, as honest as you can be out on this.
I chime in. No, we're not. We're trying to steal stuff.
So Tomo leans across the table and said, "Look, I ain't got no problem with people living outside the law, even if they are law. Hell, I've put holes in a church before. I'm just saying, you don't go putting holes in the church of the hometown of the guy who hired you to do a job. And then say that you want to finish up with him. He's out for blood. He hates you."
Well, if we could get a meeting with him, kind of ease any tension that he may have with us, we certainly don't. We don't want to be on his wrong side.
You ain't had much dealing with werewolves, have you?
Like I said, I came in on the tail end of this.
Is that a werewolf joke?
That might have been. I did not realize that.
You humans and your sense of humor.
I pull out another book. I have the details of everything we know about werewolves right here. I've opened the pages and there's like pictures and everything. I know lots about werewolves. I've never met one though.
Interesting. Okay. So they want to meet with Caldwell. He says, "Well, I guess maybe I ought to go tell him."
We want to make this right. We don't want to be on his bad side. We understand that he is a very powerful man, and we are very sorry, actually. So we want to bring him the package as a peace offering, as it might be.
I see. And you're going to head to Partridge's Push to deliver?
That would be the plan.
All right. I better let him know you're coming then. He kind of stands up. he starts to leave. And he says, "All right, I guess you better not go far."
All right.
Okay.
Give me a plan.
All right. So he kind of ducks out the back side of this place, not leaving from the front door. The rest of the dwarves kind of sit there for a moment, and they kind of start to look to one another.
I'll go ahead and go over to the bar, I guess, or unless it's last call, and then go find my other compatriots.
Okay. So yeah, you saunter up to the bar and order yourself another drink. Brother Cutter, did you head back to the bar with Dariel, or did you kind of hang near the gambling table?
I stayed near the gambling table because I still really want to play.
Okay. You notice several of the dwarves are kind of eyeing you up and down, kind of staring at a couple of the pieces on your setup, your gear that you'll be wearing that may not be mundane.
Let me see. I have a magical glove and my... Oh, no, I got a couple things. Okay, yeah. I lean in and say, you know, this one time, I killed 20 people.
All right. Make an intimidate.
Will, because I'm scary. And I say it really like calmly, like serial killer calm.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, Anthony Hopkins style.
I rolled an 18 plus 6 is 24, and they're scared.
Okay, yeah. They very quickly kind of turn away and kind of make themselves busy with small idle chit chat.
I put my hand on two of their shoulders and say, you know, it was really rude of you to not let me play.
So I told you we're done for the night. He said we were all finished.
I said, you know, I would have won quite a bit of money. I feel like I've been robbed.
We didn't rob you, did we? And he kind of looks to one of his friends. He says, not yet.
I laugh, like, way too loud.
They kind of shrink. You're laughing a little.
So, why don't you guys tell me an interesting story, and I'll just write it down here in my book.
Okay. And the interview begins with the Undertaker's men.
And it lasts 3 hours, and every time they try and get up, I go, not done yet.
There's several of them, so you have no problem having plenty. So, Dariel, as you're kind of sitting at the bar getting a drink, something kind of catches your attention. There's that long mirror kind of on the bar that's kind of hung on the wall along the back. You think you saw a flash of lightning coming from outside, but unless your eyes were tricking you, it looked purple.
From outside? Well, then I am definitely going to go up and look outside.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of take the drink and mosey on over to the window, taking a peek out. There's not a storm cloud in the sky anywhere. And standing out there, you don't see any other flashes of lightning, even on near the horizon, in any direction that you can see.
Would I have an inkling of what a purple flash might be?
Make an Arcana check.
I will do that with gladness. That's a 9.
Okay. You're not sure. There are magics that have strange similarities but differences to forces of nature.
Right.
Too bad you don't know anybody in the same room as you who knows a lot of fucking shit.
Yeah, I think Brother Cutter has annoyed dwarves enough at this point. If it's been 3 hours, I've been sitting here way too long. I need to stretch my legs anyway.
Yeah, I would say this was probably not at the 3-hour mark. This was probably earlier in, but yes. He's probably already annoyed them even 3 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if any length of time goes by, I'm going to grab him and I'll actually drag him outside. Tell him I need some fresh air. And he's coming with me.
Okay.
I tell the dwarves that I'll see them later, but in Thieves' Cant, I'm really telling them that next time they should be more polite.
Several of them absolutely catch on to what you are saying, and you can see the genuine surprise and shock on their face to see that can't.
And then I go with him and I go outside and I say, okay, what's more important? I was just learning about that guy's great-grandmother sculpted a statue. What? What do you want?
Yeah, at this point, there's going to be pretty much anything. That cart passing by looks more special than that, honestly. And
it was a fertility statue. What are you saying?
All right, question. Do you know anything about purple flashes of light?
Well, let me roll my Arcana check.
Please do.
Let me consult my book here about purple light. Oh, look, I don't have a book about that, but I did get 22.
Okay. Yeah, that sometimes teleportation magic can have what looks like a flash of almost lightning, but without a bolt to it. And there are times that it is purple.
I say, someone teleported. Like, big whoop, that's magic. I know plenty about magic. I don't know anything about dwarven fertility statues.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that does make a whole lot of sense.
Well, logically, Daryl, since you don't seem to pick up on things, that dwarf you were talking to probably teleported away.
Yeah,
you know how he said he was going to go to Partridge's Bush?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think we should probably catch up our friends on what's transpired so that they can catch up.
Yeah, well, they're also probably going to be mad at you, so.
Yeah, I know. I figured that one too.
So, several of you, not everybody, it can be everybody if you want, but those of you that wish, do eventually meet back up with Brother Cutter and Daryl. And all of you that are going to have met back up, please give me a perception check. Daryl, Brother Cutter,
I'm going to tell
Joe,
the seediest looking guy I can see that I lost my dog and see if he picks up what I'm really saying, which should be obvious.
Okay, hang on a sec. Okay, so basically everybody except for Eagle and Mad Dog, you're going to need to roll with disadvantage, please, on this perception roll.
With disadvantage, all right.
Yes, please.
I got a 20.
Okay.
I rolled a 4 and laughed and said, I'll roll again, but I'm not going to roll lower than that, and then I rolled a 2. God, that's still a 10, though, so...
That's still pretty good. You're very perceptive.
16.
Okay. Okay, so Eagle Witness and Daryl both kind of notice something as you're kind of filling everybody in on what has transpired thus far. There's a stagecoach sitting not that far away. It's currently untethered from any kind of beast of burden that would be pulling it. And it's kind of set up almost as if it was in use. It's, kind of stabilized, what have you. It's got chocks on it. And The thing that kind of strikes Dariel as odd is there's actually a spot in the ground, not far below it, that looks like a drop of paint. And it's the same color that the carriage is currently painted. So you're thinking that that paint might have been wet not that long ago. Eagle Witness, you recognize this carriage. It's definitely been repainted. This carriage you have seen once before. This was the carriage that you chased Wayne Striga into. You're muted, man.
Is this the time whenever we were rescuing the gal and her brother, and we were like out on the plains and we chased down this wagon, and I think we kept it from falling off a cliff or something?
No, this was the person that was kidnapping people, the photographer.
Oh, the catcher from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from session 1.
Okay, wow. Blast pack. Yeah, then Eagle Witnesses notice this and say, "Is this not Wayne Striga's stagecoach?"
I think the only original angel from when that happened is Mad Dog that is still remaining.
You know what? Without a doubt.
Well, you know what? That's perfect. Mad Dog. Isn't that Striga's stagecoach?
No, his stage was.
Look.
You know what? You're right. Without a doubt. I think
I'm going to look to the rest of the group. We know this coach.
That's interesting. Why would someone repaint a stagecoach in the middle of the street?
Do not know. Is anything around the stagecoach or anything?
Mm-mm.
Let's go investigate.
I walk away. Between two buildings.
I walk towards it.
Okay. You said that we saw paint over where we were?
Dariel saw a spot of paint right below it in the sand.
I'm pretty sure I owe that man a bullet. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think so.
Eagle,
come, let us go
with
take a closer look.
With your perception roll, Eagle Witness, you also notice that there are a set of footprints, kind of short and squat, a little wider than normal, leading from the saloon to this carriage.
Okay, and they look probably like dwarf prints or something.
Mm-hmm. Sorry,
like dwarf prints, probably?
You're guessing that's probably what they are, just by their size.
Okay. I'm not going to tell anyone that I see them, but I'm going to like bend down and get really close to them and touch them and look over toward the stagecoach and then walk off in that direction. Clear that I'm following something.
I'm going to follow him and say, Luz has spoken to him.
I'm going to follow him and say, no, there's footsteps.
Obviously, Luz showed him the footsteps.
Hey Jeremy. Can you remind me what the consumable flash powder thing does that I've had on my sheets in session 1 that we got from him?
It makes people fall asleep.
I think that is correct. I'm sure it has specifics written with it. If I can find it.
So I've been holding on to that for a special occasion, and I think we might have just found it.
Okay. So, Eagle Witness approaches the carriage, at least leading the group. Okay, flash powder. Upon first inspection, this light gray fine grit powder looks identical to the powder used by any photographer. When you look closer, you notice tiny blue crystals mixed into it. This powder, when ignited, flashes brilliantly for but a moment. Anyone that has line of sight to this flash when it occurs must make a Constitution saving throw at a DC of 12 or fall asleep, as per the sleep spell. So, You guys approach the stagecoach. Eagle Witness in the front.
Mhm.
And you make it all the way to the door, and it hasn't moved. There's been no sound. Nothing is really passed near it at all, other than just, people passing back and forth in front of it in the street. It's just sitting there.
Yeah, only a cautious approach. Did you hear that?
Okay. Cautiously approach is all I heard. Okay. So yeah, you're able to get all the way to the door. Put your hand on it if you want.
I will go ahead.
Bless you, Derek.
Look inside this
Go ahead, sir.
coach.
Look inside the coach.
Yeah, I'll look inside.
Okay. So yeah, you pop open the door and kind of do the little, pop it open. So we kind of see the view from the inside of the stagecoach for just a moment, as the door just kind of quickly swings open and there's nobody there. There's like a beat of silence and a pause, and then we kind of see Eagle Witness's face kind of peeking around from the corner. You look in. Inside looks decorated exactly the same as you remember it. There's even probably still a little bit of a mess in here. There might even be a little bit of that flash powder residue kind of on the floor and stuff, where some of it got spilled from your exchange with Wayne Striga here. Not all that long ago. Probably 6 months, 8 months, somewhere around there. And sitting at the back, in the same exact location that it was the last time, is a very large steamer trunk. It looks very, very ornate.
Where did lead to last time? Settlement.
It was a city that was way out east called... Hold, please. I will put on the hold music. Bing, 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 bing.
Use the same hold music as my bank.
I am the hold music for your bank. You just found what I nightlight as. I am Muzak. Okay. Do the share screen thing. Click it here. This laptop is so old for a 2-year-old laptop. Crazy. So you guys ended up in Solitude, in a whorehouse.
Yeah, wow, that's right.
That was run by Wayne Striga's sister under a false identity. And that was where all of the, teenage men and women that had been abducted were disappearing to. They were being brought here, their minds were being wiped, and then they were being put to work.
Yeah. I would hope it doesn't look like it will.
All I heard was, doesn't look like it will.
I
He was
wanted
hoping
a
you would
short.
He's hoping you would take his partridge's push.
Oh, I see. You don't know. It may not. I don't know if, well, I guess he has filled you in, so it's very possible that it might be tied to a different place.
I'm going to study it with my studying powers and see what I can tell about it.
Okay.
If there's any kind of
I would like
energy
to know.
it gives off.
I would like to know exactly how Brother Cutter is inspecting this. If you would please be so kind.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is detect magic and look at its magical aura.
It absolutely is magical.
Yeah, but I also get to know the school of magic it is.
Let's see. It would be transmutation, I believe.
Let's see. What can I do? Ooh, I have augury.
I just want you to stick
Teleport
your
is
head in it.
It is a conjuration. What was that, Brother Estes?
I said I just want him to stick his head in it and see what happens.
Okay. Eagle has said that he tells everyone that this device is used to transport people to another place.
I'm guessing it's a one-way trip.
According to those that were able to tell you,
Yeah, it was last time.
yes, Mad Dog and Eagle Witness can inform you that yes, it is only a one-way trip.
They may have had a device that allowed you to go back, but we never found it on the other end.
Yeah, it would have been a separate thing. Okay.
I cast augury and ask if going through this would. Well, I announce going through it as the course of action I might take, and I get to know if good stuff would happen, bad stuff would happen, good and bad stuff would happen, or neither.
Good and bad stuff would happen is the gist that you get. I think it's weal and woe.
Yeah, I get weal and woe.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a question for you. I'm reading the Find Familiar spell, and it looks like there is no reason at all why my familiar can't be summoned back to me if I put it into this thing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think as long as you're on the same plane of existence, that might be the only tricky part, but I don't think teleport technically takes you to a different plane of existence.
Well, I am going to summon my familiar. Actually, I'm not going to summon it. I'm just going to snap my fingers and undisappear it.
Okay, yeah, so it comes back into the mortal realm.
I'm going to have a brief conversation where I explain what I would like it to do is go in here, fly around a little bit, see if it can't figure out, anything useful about where it is, and then I'm going to summon back in like 1 minute.
Okay. And you're going to put your owl into the chest?
Yes.
Okay. So I need to innate a dexterity saving throw. And I am very sorry, Brother Cutter, but I'm going to need one from you. I'm going to need a separate one from your familiar. The witness, I believe, is going to need one. He can have the cover bonus. I think it's a +5 because you're outside. And I don't know who else was nearby. But if any of you were nearby, you will also need to make dexterity saving throws with a +5. Unless you were in the carriage.
All right, so if you're in the carriage, you're safe, and if you're not, you're fine?
No, if you're in the carriage, you don't get the +5.
Oh, okay, so I figured I'd just be leaning on the outside of the carriage, letting them do their thing. So, dex save +5, is that what I heard?
Mm-hmm. If you're outside.
I would have been inside the cabin, and so I don't get the +5 either, right?
Okay. Yes, if you were inside, you will not get the bonus.
Okay.
My total was 30.
Wow.
My total is 20.
28. I nat 20'd on that one.
That would definitely be helpful.
This is not that
Okay. So that is... Okay. So here's what happens. Brother Cutter goes over to the trunk and pulls the lid open, and a illusory group, like a line of soldiers that are dressed similarly to the way soldiers were dressed in the civil wars of the East, all of a sudden kind of materialize, and you hear kind of a commanding voice from somewhere amongst them say, "Fire!" And all of a sudden, all of their rifles go, and there's smoke everywhere. And those of you who got less than a spell save of 15, so that would be Eagle Witness, and I didn't see one for your familiar, Brother Cutter.
I have no idea how I'm supposed to roll his.
Okay, I think they get a benefit from you. It's under the Find Familiar spell, I think.
They get your proficiency.
Although, if we're going to be real, I would have opened it before I summoned my familiar, because I would have been inspecting it. If that saves us time at all.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll say that that's the way that it went down. Okay, so for those of you who got a less than a 15, which I don't know if anybody did other than Eagle, you take 35 points. Nope, 32 points of fire damage as this entire carriage just is blown to splinters. It's pretty much just four wheels kind of partially standing. For those of you that did save, you take 17 points. Nope, 16. Sorry, I will do math eventually.
Hoo-wee.
There is a tremendous noise as this chest and carriage around it is just torn asunder. Just this pieces of wood get thrown into nearby buildings, scattered in the sand. And like I said, there's hardly even four wheels left standing.
Mad Dog wants to try to figure out how the explosion happened. Like what type of explosion it was.
Okay, make me an investigation check. You're going to be at disadvantage because of the the enormous amount of chaos and carnage that this thing is now in.
I'm going to kneel next to Eagle Witness and say, "Hey, brother, you all right over there?"
Assuming you can hear me all right, I am going to be using Second Wind and Cure Wounds immediately to recover some health.
I will similarly be casting Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably several moments of ringing ears, blurred vision, kind of trying to make sure that everybody is still alive, finding one another, applying healing magics, things of that nature. What did you get on your investigation checks, Mad Dog?
It wasn't dynamite. That's for sure. And I got a total of a 2.
Okay. Yeah. There's pieces of this thing like all over the place. You're having a hard time even telling what was once carriage and what was once steam trunk at this point.
Oh, well, the steam trunk is gone as well.
The entire thing, like I said, there's pretty much four wheels that are kind of standing, and that's about it. The rest of it is kind of kindling at this point.
I ask this mysterious augur figure how the hell that was wheel and woe.
There is no answer.
I ask out loud with my fist shaking at the sky.
Got it. Yep.
Good stuff. We didn't end up across the nation where we didn't want to be. Bad stuff. We took damage.
There you go. Daryl's going to look around, see if anybody else was hurt. I'm assuming Eagle Witness looks the worst still. At
the very beginning, at least, he does, yeah.
Does it look like we'll have like 10 minutes so that I can do a prayer of healing?
Yeah, the entire town in this area is kind of thrown into upheaval at the moment. So, yeah, there will definitely be some downtime.
Well, then I'm going to do a prayer of healing to heal up to 6 people. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of us, all 6 of us,
Oh, nice.
get to heal. Hold on.
I also have some lay on hands if need be.
Hold on, though.
But yeah.
This ought to be pretty good.
Dario would also like to implant the idea that we should probably not be around this explosion area when the authorities come.
Everyone gets to heal 20 points.
20.
There you go.
That's more than I took.
Thank you,
that
Father.
takes 10 minutes. That takes 10 minutes to do. And there's a lot of calling upon lose, so I'm sorry, Eagle Witness.
You know, is uncomfortable. Definitely feel himself healing, but he doesn't voice that.
Excellent. We are about at the halfway mark time-wise, so we're going to go ahead and take a small break. Smoke them if you got them. Get your drinks refilled. Empty where your drink's got to end up at some point, and we'll be back here at 9:30.
Cool.
See you guys.
Fun.
off the intake cover. I'm going to take off the intake filter. Since this is carbureted, I'm going to slowly pour the seafoam right into the carburetor. And then it's going to get sucked in, mixed with the air and the fuel, and hopefully clean the piston. Just want to make it clear that I'm not being sponsored by Seafoam. This is my own individual test. I went out and bought the Seafoam myself, and I'm just as curious as you guys whether or not this stuff works. This is going to be one of two tests I'm doing. I'm doing a small engine test on my lawnmower, and then I'll be doing a test in my truck to see if Seafoam cleans the car engine out. I'm adding the Seafoam slowly, enough so that a bunch gets in there, but not too much so that the engine stalls. You want the engine to stall at the end, but not right now. Right now, you're using a third of the can of Seafoam, just like it says in the instructions. And once you're done with that third, you'll just pour enough so that it stalls out the engine. When you're stalling out the engine, you don't want to pour too much either. You don't want to hydrolock the engine, especially for one of these small engines. It'd be pretty easy to do. Then you'll let it sit for about 5 minutes, restart it without adding this, and then let it run for a few minutes, and then we'll check the inside and see if we cleaned anything out. 5 minutes in the last. Let's start the engine up. That white smoke isn't actually carbon deposits being burned off, contrary to what most people think. It's actually because the oil that's in the seafoam, when there's a lot of oil and it burns, it's white. They actually use this technique to create smoke screens on tanks. So after the exhaust goes clear and it's not smoky anymore, we can shut it off. Now we're going to go in and see if seafoam actually cleaned out the deposits in the cylinder. We're going to take the spark plug out. We look at the spark plug. The spark plug actually has like a sheen to it. Before I took it out, it was dry. Now it has like an oily sheen on top, and I think that's the seafoam. The seafoam probably did get mixed up in that cylinder pretty good, since it did leave an oily sheen on the spark plug. That's interesting right there. So let's take a look inside. Can't wait to see this. This definitely looks better. I can actually see a difference, which is pretty sweet. Let's get a before and after comparison so we can get an idea of what the seafoam actually cleans. Here's the before. Here's the after. You can see
Looks like we have a viewer, which we've had, I think, from the beginning. So whoever you are, or almost since the beginning, whoever you are, thank you very much for sticking with us. Hopefully you are enjoying the game so far.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome. We had two for a little bit, and then one of them left, but we were in kind of a lull in the game. So it's understandable. Cool.
Yeah, sorry we got kind of derailed there, Jimmy, but I know we're not. We didn't cover
no, man.
everything you're looking for, but
No. It's good. I'm having a good time, and I finally got to scare the crap out of all of you.
I think we're all healed fully again, though.
What's that?
I said I think we're all healed fully again, though.
Oh yes. But at least I got y'all's attention.
yeah, that prayer of healing is awesome.
The what?
That prayer of healing spell is awesome.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
it
rolled
takes a
a
long
6.
time. It
Yeah, I
takes
rolled a
long
6
time
and a
to cast
7
it.
on my DH, though. So that was a good roll.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the ritual spells they're either really, really useful or they're really potent.
This isn't a ritual. It just takes 10 minutes to cast.
Oh, okay. Well.
And so I guess you can't use it. They do it that way so you can't use it in combat, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You have to at least be taking a short rest. Well, not quite even a short rest. Just 10 minutes.
Yeah, so you could do that mid dungeon crawl without having to take a rest.
I've noticed that there is a lot less weighty curative magic than there was in 3rd edition. They toned it all down and spread it out to where now a lot of the classes have their own features that allow them to do some form of healing, like the fighter being able to get hit points back with second wind, and there's somebody else that gets an ability where they can get the warlock gets those temporary hit points that they can do. So
only if they're a hellish one.
well, yes, which the character that I played that was a warlock was. So
the other character I made that's similar to this one that I remembered about, he is a hellish one, and it's pretty cool. I like hellish a lot.
it makes for an interesting dynamic, especially like if you play a good aligned character.
My character in that one, he's actually a cleric of Mystra who got so fed up with Mystra not giving him magic fast enough that he's like, fine, I'm going to go find a demon to give me power.
Interesting.
And so now he's had this odd balance where he knows Mystra's upset at him, but Mystra more cares about like magic and learning than anything else, and he's still trying to improve himself. So Mystra hasn't like completely cut him off, but she stopped letting him improve as a cleric.
It's a cool way to treat that. Okay, so we are back at 9:30 now, and we'll get back into this, as it looks like nearly everyone has returned. It doesn't look like Eli is here, but at least his beautiful face is represented for us. So yeah, you guys kind of take a moment or two to collect yourselves, kind of heal back up, poke around the scene of the crime, what have you. And what do you intend to do afterwards?
Wait for the authorities, because despite what Daryl says, I want to be here and talk to them.
So I'm coming in a little late. What did we find out about the cause of the explosion? Did it seem like it was coming from inside or outside the stagecoach?
It definitely came from inside.
Oh wait, can I roll an investigation check too?
You can. It will also be at disadvantage.
Okay.
You didn't miss anything, Eli?
Man, I rolled a 19 and then I rolled a 2.
Do you have bonuses to it?
Yes, plus 5, but 7 probably won't give me too much.
No, unfortunately not. Again, it's kind of very difficult to make hide nor hair of what's going on in the situation. It definitely, obliterate would be a good word.
Strangely, hide and hair is all that's left.
Pretty much. Although some of you may have very little hair left at this point.
I haven't done this yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and beseech my patron to ask him why I was told that good and bad would happen when I opened the chest, because it feels like only bad happened. And I'm going to prepare myself for the great old one to make me crazy.
I think maybe instead you just ask what the good was supposed to be.
Yes.
That gets more to the point.
That's more clear.
Okay. So you ask this question, and there's a moment of silence, and then you feel that odd kind of slithering sensation at the base of your skull that kind of works its way almost worm-like seemingly up the back of your skull, and then just kind of begins to branch out from there in all directions, sending out little tendrils. It kind of just envelops your brain, and you hear a voice inside your head that says, "You ask the wrong questions."
I say, damn it, Hermaeus. You always say that. What is the right question?
Your mind takes a long time to develop.
What is the right question then?
You asked if you went through the device, if you would find weal or woe. You did not go through the device.
God damn, Hermaeus, you're right. Of course, my part of the conversation is out loud.
Perfect. One point of inspiration. Yeah, the rest of you kind of see Brother Cutter wandering around talking to himself. You think he may have hit his head in the explosion.
I look at Father Estevez and I say, well, the bad news is my spell worked. That's it. That's all I say.
The good?
There's no good news.
Oh,
The good news is Luz healed us.
praise be to Luz.
Is anybody else hearing Transformers?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
he's reprogramming my computer. Crap.
That was nuts.
It's Megatron.
It is Megatron. He's taking over the game. Okay. So, what comes next? Angels of the Gallows.
Well, I'm still going to wait for the authorities.
Okay. Yes, they will definitely show up.
I'll continue poking around, see if I can figure out what's going on, but I think I already made my check, so...
I am not going to wait for the authorities. I'm going to duck away. I'll look for to see if there's any trail of the owner of the carriage, if he's still in town.
Okay. Make a, I guess it would be another investigation. This one's not a disadvantage.
I will put my hand on his shoulder though, and pray that whatever Mad Dog is up to, that the Lord will bless it. So guidance.
That's a pretty open-ended offer there, Father. You even cracked up Megatron. I'm pretty sure that was a Transformer laugh.
Just so it's clear, Dan, you sound like a robot and you're not making any words.
Oh, is that Dan? Sure enough.
Wow, yeah, it is.
Holy
That's
crap.
crazy.
I thought it was some kind of interference.
Yeah. So I rolled an 8, then I rolled a d4, got a 1, -1, got an 8.
All right. You're not able to find anybody who seems to know who you're talking about whenever you're asking about Wayne Striga. Nobody seems to know anybody that even matches the description that you're able to give of him. So the authorities do arrive. Those of you who wished to skedaddle before that happened had ample time to do so. They kind of show up, weapons drawn, definitely looking a little disheveled and looking like they're expecting a lot of trouble. One of them kind of runs up. What in the nine hells just happened over here?
So
I
the
say,
priest
careful,
will.
this is a crime scene. A chest blew up.
Yes, the good priest will walk up to them and say, "Gentlemen, good evening."
Padre, your clothes look a little singed. What in the world just happened?
I could say the Lord spoke loudly.
Are you okay, Padre?
Excuse me, I might have hit my head.
They kind of look over your shoulder.
I wave.
It's like for a brief moment, the camera's view, we see like a large piece of wagon splinter like sticking out of the side of a building.
As you can see, though, there are no casualties.
Well, that's good to know. I suppose we won't have to arrest anybody on murder. But that doesn't exactly explain what in the world happened here.
Well, I think you need to track down the owner of what remains of that stagecoach. They obviously had some contraband.
Their eyes kind of get big and ears kind of perk up when you say the contraband word. You know, that looks like it might be enough to maybe get them interested in thinking that they may become known if they're able to bring in contraband that did something like this. And they kind of rush around you towards the carriage as if it looks like they're going to try to inspect things a little closer. He sends a couple of them off to go find a name that he says it may not mean anything to you, but it probably at least perks up Dariel. He says, "Go find Dagram."
These are the... Let's say that.
Oh no, Dan.
I'm going to go ahead and say, ooh, who's Dagum?
Brother Cutter, you might remember. I don't know how bad your short-term memory is, but you might remember that was the dwarf that Dariel was gambling with.
Oh, Brother Cutter would remember. I just don't remember.
Ah, got it.
I would say, so guys, here's what happened, and I would tell them exactly what happened with the kabooming. I opened a chest, it exploded.
Why were you in Dagram's carriage?
I said, this is not Dagram's carriage. This is, Wayne Striga's carriage.
Wayne who?
I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely don't seem to know who you're talking about. And they kind of exchange glances, and they say, "Well, this is where the carriage that Dagram came with. It was sitting right here." He said. He kind of walks over to one of them, and he says, "Yeah, this piece of wood right here, it's painted green. His carriage was painted green."
I say, no. If you take a look, oh, it's gone. This carriage was just recently painted, only a few minutes ago.
They kind of come over and see what you're trying to talk about.
Or the fact
Kinda
that there's
look around.
wet paint.
Yeah, you
On
can
the
kind of
ground.
see, a couple of splotches of wet paint here and there. It's pretty tacky, so it's pretty close to being dry, but it's definitely still wet.
I say, oh, I figured it out. And I clap him on the shoulder, excited, like, I know what happened. I just be really excited about knowing what happened, and I don't actually tell him.
Okay. He seems kind of confused. You care to fill us in?
What? Oh, right. I forgot that you can't read my mind unless I let you.
They kind
What
of look at each other
happened?
again.
What had happened was, you know that guy you were talking about, Dagnum? Yeah, so he would come by and think this caravan was his, and he would open his own chest and it would explode and kill him. Somebody tried to murder him.
At that point, I use thaumaturgy and make a sound that sounds like the crowd going, ooh.
Excellent. Okay, so they kind of look around for a second. Don't see nearly enough people standing around to quite be as loud as that was. And they kind of look back. Something strange is going on here.
Yeah, Luz is cheering for me.
Okay. They kind of look like they might have a little bit of an understanding. They may not agree, but they at least seem to have reached an explanation that they're satisfied with.
Okay, at that point, I'm also going to use thaumaturgy to make a door behind them slam closed. And I'm going to point and say, there was someone.
What? Let's go. They both kind of draw their weapons again out of their holsters and charge off after him. You go around back. One of them kind of splits and heads around the back of the building. And you're left alone with the crime scene.
Yeah, but that guy's coming back with a what's his name?
There was
No, it was also blown apart.
What was blown apart?
The trunk. He was
Oh, yeah,
asking if
no.
the trunk was still there. You were inside the carriage, so you pretty much saw that it originated with the trunk. The explosion did.
I was saying, though,
Okay.
that Dagon's going to be here pretty soon, right?
You believe so?
I'm going to wait for him.
Okay.
Does anyone have mending?
Of course I do.
Can we mend this thing?
Wait, actually, no, I don't. What the heck?
Several minutes
Way
go
to
by,
utility.
and then this man comes back alone, shaking his head. Says, "I don't get it. Dagon's not here."
I said, oh, that's because
searched
he
all over
teleported.
town.
I said, he teleported to Partridge Passage. That's right. Never mind, you wouldn't find him.
You just sent me to go find somebody who's not here?
I didn't send you. Your captain sent you. Go yell at him.
He kind of stomps off in a random direction, shaking his head.
No, he went that way.
He kind of turns and looks over his shoulder, and he kind of just keeps walking.
I'm sure you'll find him. Good luck.
You hear him mumbling something, and you actually see him reach up, pull something shiny off of his chest, and throw it down into the dirt and keep walking.
I'm going to go over and pick up that shiny thing.
Okay. You now have a sheriff's badge.
I pin it.
Good lord.
I'm honestly surprised he doesn't have one already.
I think he might. Or
I
his old
actually do
character, at
have
least
one.
did.
I
But
do
now he's
have
got
one.
a collection.
I've got
That's
a
gonna be
collection.
Great if you get pulled over.
Oh, yeah, I've got all these.
Yeah, what jurisdiction is this? Hold on.
It's like Benny from the Mummy movie, just kind of going through, cycling through until he finds the
holy
right one.
symbols. Yeah.
Okay. So, what is the rest of the group going to be up to? What are we doing now? What is the plan?
We've already been in town for a few days. Awfully strange seeing Wayne Striga's stagecoach. He didn't get away whenever we were whenever we fought him. He didn't. I thought we captured him.
Eagle and Mad Dog would know that he was arrested. His sister was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then, Dag, I feel like I've heard that name before too, but I can't find it in my notes anywhere.
Yeah, I would show you this picture that I have for him, except that my Dropbox is for some reason sticking
yeah.
it to me.
Well, what was the deal with him? Where's he from?
I don't know if you know or not, but he was the dwarf that I'm gonna remember the name here in just a minute, I promise.
Isn't
Daryl.
his last name like Kell or something?
Ogden Kell?
Aha! I was thinking of a totally different dwarf. They all look the same to me. Sorry.
They all look the same. All their names sound the same.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I mean, if this isn't a
Dwarfist.
dwarf that I know, and if the wagon's destroyed, I think I'm just gonna knock it up to a crazy coincidence.
Well, there would be one thing that
I think we need to.
oh, sorry. You kind of went all laggy there
Fine.
for a second. You would know that sometimes magic items change hands instead of going back east like they're supposed to. So it's not wholly uncommon to see a magic item more than once. But something like this would be very hard to keep in circulation, quote unquote, especially when it was directly involved in a crime. And I would even say that you probably remember that it was confiscated as part of the investigation once you guys were able to finally get in touch with the authorities.
I'm going to start putting my feelers out to my contacts in town to see if I can track down where it would have come from and who it belonged to.
Okay. Asking around town, pretty much the only thing that anybody here seems to be able to tell you is that the dwarves, whenever they came into town, brought it with them. And when they arrived in Horizon, they all started kind of asking questions about you guys, seeing if you had been here, asking if anybody had seen you, if anybody knew any of you, if anybody had any information as to where your location was, et cetera, et cetera.
I have a question for you. They have no idea who I am, though, right?
You? Not you specifically.
I know. I'm just asking about me specifically. They would not know who I am, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Question 2. Can I go ask if anyone's seen this exact cart that got blown up, but a different one somewhere else? It's exactly the same, but it's not this one.
Some people probably have, they know the specific make and model.
No. This exact one, because this one is supposed to look like a different one. The replica blew up. Where's the original?
They kind of shake their head and they say, I have no idea. Like I said, I've seen, a couple of them in my days, but mostly back east. It's a pretty fancy
the one's painted
carriage.
like this?
No. I've never seen I've never seen that carriage before until it came to town.
Yes, that carriage that came to town is not the one that blew up.
It looked like it to me.
Yes, it was a fake. Where's the real one?
I don't have any idea what you're talking about. I don't know if there is a real one.
Oh, I am upset about this. Can I roll investigation to see if anyone knows where it is?
It's a sad, sad day when Mad Dog thinks you're crazy.
You could try, sure.
Derek, I'm not completely crazy here, right? There is a different carriage that looks like this one, right?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Really? Okay. The carriage that blew up was painted to look like a different carriage.
Who said
No,
that?
it was the carriage, just painted a different color.
Okay, I must be misunderstanding. When Dagon came in...
No, I know what you're saying. You're saying that like the paint on the stagecoach was changed, and that's supposed to be a way to disguise it or something.
Right, didn't Dagon come in on a carriage that looked like the one that blew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the one that blew up was painted to look different.
It was painted a different color than the first time we ever saw it 6 months ago.
Okay, this is what I believe happened. And I am apparently wrong, but I just want to make sure I'm wrong. 12 people came in with a carriage. Let's say it was painted purple. And then somebody came in with Wayne Strigas, which was painted green, and then they painted it purple. And the purple one blew up, and the real purple one is missing.
I will tell you that no, that is not what happened.
Then that's what I've been believing happened the whole time.
Just so that we can clarify.
Then I take all this back. Then I was very confused a long time ago.
That was completely my fault for feeding you information that confused you. I am sorry.
Nope, I'm gonna blame Mad Dog.
So,
To be clear, I don't blame Michael. I blame Mad Dog.
Exactly. The list gets longer. So yeah, what's next, guys? What are you gonna do?
I find a copy of his wanted charges, and I add confused a priest at the bottom.
Back on the rails? That makes
Yes,
sense?
we should continue to Partridge's push.
Does Mad Dog want to make 300 gold?
That's a loaded question.
I'm assuming you've broken out of multiple jail cells and everything, right?
No, they usually let me go. Good behavior.
Saw a bounty with 500 gold on your name.
Oh, that's all I'm worth nowadays?
I'll give you 300 of it.
It must have been fated.
We could figure out some way to work that out. If you're game.
Seems like I'd be taking all the risk on that one. I don't play that game.
All right.
All right, fair enough.
I pull up my badge and say, "I'm a sheriff now. Hey, you're under arrest." And then I say, "I'm just kidding," but I say it really serious.
I pull my gun and then say, "I'm just kidding," and then cock it.
I pull out my fake gun, which is clearly not a real gun, and I don't cock it because there's no way to cock it. And I say, "Pew pew."
How do you have a fake gun?
I think that's the one he shoots his magic out of.
I point the gun at Daryl's feet, and a giant green ball of poison shoots out at it and just kind of melts the ground a little bit.
A few people kind of in the general vicinity kind of freak out a little bit.
Smooth move, dude. Time to move.
I raise the gun.
Yeah, Mad Dog's going to start screaming and shooting guns in the air.
Oh my god.
Just to get the panic and then start running.
Yeah,
back to the train.
there is definitely now a complete and total pandemonium once again surrounding your group as people go running and screaming, and the authorities once again are trying to figure out what has happened in their quiet little town.
I'm getting out of here.
The Padre, Angels of the Gallows, strikes fear into the hearts of everyone.
The Padre will cause slight tremors to occur in the ground, and will yell, "Earthquake! Earthquake!" And we'll run out.
Run for your lives.
With everyone else.
Through the immense amount of confusion, you manage to make your way to the rail station. That kind of sounded like what the consensus was.
With our horses fully backed.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And all the dynamite that I bought in the barrels of
yes, with all of your supplies. Luckily, you had already begun loading them on the train, or at least had them on the dock side. Okay. So without further ado, you mount back up on the railway, and I believe this one is called something different. But you head out of Horizon and start moving eastward along the coast. It will cost another 10 gold pieces if you're riding up front, and a single gold piece if you are riding in the back, as you head towards God's End.
So I assume
God's End.
The people that had talked with the dwarf who knew Caldwell filled us in. So I think
Yes.
we should get like a private car and try to talk strategy.
I get on the thing and I hold out my newly acquired sheriff badge and say, I'll be needing to, wait, there's a word for this.
Commandeer.
I'll be needing to commandeer a cart.
That went exactly how that went. There was no pause. That's exactly how that went.
That was all in character.
Yes.
Yep. That's perfect. So one of them kind of
Badge.
the
Badge.
conductor that comes up kind of says, "Well, of course, sir. Right this way." And he kind of takes you, kind of closer towards the back of the train, but definitely not the place where the livestock and things are kept usually.
I asked him if he can brew some tea and send it back.
Tea? He kind of raises his eyebrows. Of course, sir. Yes. I'll begin that right away.
I say thank you, and I hand him 2 gold coins.
He kind of looks at him. Thank you, sir. He bustles off.
I say, and that's how I paid for everyone's train ticket with 2 gold coins.
Well, it's updated on my phone. But let us see here. Okay. So you head out towards.
Hold on, Jeremy. If
Mhm.
what's his name today? Joe was going to investigate some kind of armory, you could probably just do that right now.
I have been able to complete my inspection. Back on the train. Oh.
I
Yeah.
don't know what happened and how urgent the rush to the train was or what have you. Like,
It seemed to be pretty urgent.
it sounded like that when I got back.
It was pretty urgent, but we've been gone for like 3 hours. You could have inspected the thing while we were gone.
Yeah, and what were you intending with that? Just trying to sneak away with something?
No. I was fully intending to actually perform an inspection, but to bond a Gatling gun or some other large piece of equipment for future use.
You can only have one bound at a time, correct?
2.
Okay.
And so I was going to drop my pistol bind and replace it with, again, whatever large arms I could come across.
Okay.
Take the time, if there is a Gatling gun or otherwise, take the time to link as many different ammo crates together as I can with it so that when it appears, it's loaded.
Do me a favor and roll a D4.
A 4.
Okay. So yeah, you were able to find a Gatling gun. And you are able to successfully bind it to yourself, as well as essentially the belt that is fed into the gun at the moment.
Okie dokie. I will mark it accordingly. How many rounds is that? Just so I can mark it. Or do you want to do that when it arrives? Just as a.
Yeah, let's do it when it arrives, just in case something changes with it while it's where it stands before you actually summon it.
Fair
I
enough.
think it'll make it interesting. Okay. So yeah, you guys head on out, and you eventually roll into town to the town of Godsend. It is likewise a seaside town, or at least close to being a seaside town. It's kind of got a large river port that makes up the majority of it. And
Than Horizon, right?
oh yes, very, very much smaller.
Yeah, I'm gonna push everybody to actually just keep on moving.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think anybody would necessarily have any immediate business to take care of this short of a jog over. So you continue on and eventually start making your way north as the train tracks turn and head further back into the Caldera, kind of along the edge of it. The Caldera's edge kind of runs kind of here. And this portion of it is kind of an increase in elevation. So it's kind of a climb that you start to make. And then this part here is almost like a big flat area that runs right up to basically kind of the rim of the beginning of the Caldera. And then these are all very big mountains here. So you're definitely able, as you kind of make your way north and then slowly turn back east and begin climbing in elevation. Off in the distance, you can definitely see mountains kind of hazy on the horizon as you start to climb in elevation and kind of start making some kind of snaking switchbacks. It doesn't really show them here because it's much smaller in scale than what's shown on the map, but you start definitely getting higher and higher. And soon, probably right about here, where it comes very close to this river, you start seeing heads on spears out the train window on both sides, very near the track.
Oh man.
What kind of heads?
Durathian activity?
They definitely do not seem to be Durathian heads. So they are human, elves, some dwarves, some other of the other denizens of the Caldera, mostly humanoids.
Yeah.
To the point where it would be
anything like that.
some of them are, yep. A good portion of them seem to at least have suffered some kind of scalping-like trauma. But Eagle Witness, you would recognize that you are in Ottawan, Alawatan territory.
Okay.
No, they just love everybody.
I don't think I know much about the Alawatan. I mean, more than everybody else, I'm sure, but I still don't know a whole lot about them.
If you would like to, you could roll a history.
Okay. I don't. So that seems about right. Let's see here.
So you guys are about here.
Do you want some guidance?
I got a 12.
A 12 total. Okay. Yeah,
Can
you
I
don't
roll
know.
history?
Yes, you can.
Then I got a 23.
Okay.
So we made it to the mission?
No, not yet. I don't think so. You shouldn't be that far. Let me see. Okay, so there's two different scale maps. This is a lot further zoomed out.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So if you look where Overlook is, you guys are west of it, almost due west, at where the rail line...
We can't see the map. We see your face.
Oh. I'm all leaned in and poking at the map and stuff. Switching back and forth. Okay. So, you guys would have already gone through Atticus's descent. So you guys should be right about where the M is. Oh, no. Well, whatever. You're in Alawatan territory, regardless of what this map shows.
There was a recent land grab. We'll say that.
Absolutely.
It was hard to make maps back then.
Yeah.
It's true. Damn
Very
surveyors.
unreliable.
Map makers. What the hell?
Hey,
Of
I'm a
wars,
map
yeah.
maker.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
The 12, you know not a lot about the Alawatan, but you do know
mhm.
that they're not typically display violence types. But the invasion of the Easterners in the Caldera has done strange things to some of the tribes. It has pushed them to pretty deep lengths of desperation in some cases. Brother Cutter,
Yeah.
with your 22,
Sure, it was a 23, but doesn't matter.
23, you know that while there are Durathian tribes that engage in scalping and doing this kind of display for intimidation, that the Alawatan have largely grown to accept the Eastern way of life and have kind of Easternized quite a bit. There are still groups of them that have not, but they typically are nonviolent.
I nudge Eagle Witness several times and say, hey. Where are we?
This is the land of the Alawatan. I have never met them.
I say,
But
well,
they're
I
right.
have, and they're very nice people, and they don't put people's heads on spikes. So we should probably stay away, because there's probably some kind of fighting here.
Yes, you Easterners have a funny way with the ways of the Durathian.
Say, I'm only half Easterner on my mother's side.
Mm. It's the wrong half. So it's looking like, though, we're pretty close to Overlook Mission at this point for an Alawatan territory.
Yeah, pretty close.
It seems like there has been some sort of massacre in Overlook Mission, right?
Maybe. I mean, you still got some miles of track to go yet.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. I think get out my. Do I still have a gun? Did I give it away? I think I did. No, I still have a rifle. So I'm going to pull out my rifle and just be ready near the windows, kind of looking at what's going on.
I'm gonna go find the train people in charge of the train.
Okay. You go to do so, and you have all noticed that the train has started to slow down.
Well, Overlook Mission is where we were taking the shield, correct?
No, that was Partridge's push.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The train has started to slow down, and eventually, about the time that Brother Cutter finds somebody that's in charge of things with the train, one of the conductors or what have you.
I'll go with Brother Cutter.
Okay. The train actually kind of screeches and kind of lurches to a stop.
I say, oh, good. I guess they already heard my thoughts. That's strange. I didn't send them out.
Nah, Brother Cutter, this is something else I'm thinking.
I look at
Try to
Daryl,
flag
and
someone.
I talk to him telepathically, and I say, are you sure?
All right, that was weird. Yeah, this is definitely something else. Please get out of my head.
Looking out the windows, kind of trying to figure out what may have been happening, what's going on. Padre Estevez, you recognize a ruined building that's not but maybe 100 yards or so from the train tracks. It's not all that far from a river, but you definitely recognize the architecture as having been at some point a Luzite mission. And those of you who kind of, look a little bit more with what's going on specifically with the train, you notice that piled up on the tracks, probably 50 feet or so from the cattle guard on the front of the train, is a big pile of stones that look like they might have come from this ruin. It's the kind of thing where it could be removed, but it's definitely going to take time and a lot of hands.
I say, mon Dieu, they've defiled it.
I want to make sure that the shield is stowed away. And
Oh, I have the shield.
Do these ruins, did you say
the
if they
shield.
look Luzite or Durathian?
They definitely look Luzite.
Luzite, okay. And, man. So how many people are on this train with us?
I would say there's probably close to 60, 70 people on board. It's pretty full.
Okay. Okay.
I continue
How
looking
many
for a
of
train
them
person.
are like civilians versus how many of them are fighters?
The majority of them are civilians.
Okay.
And yes, Brother Cutter, right about the time that the train came to a stop is when you found one of the conductors.
Okay. I go to him and I say, "Excuse me, sir."
He says, yeah, he seems very distracted. Seems like he's confused as to what's going on as well.
I say, "You should be prepared because we're about to be under attack. I'm pretty sure."
What? Attack? What are you talking about?
I say, "Shh! Don't yell. You're gonna scare all these people. Look how terrified the people are now."
He kind of starts trembling. He says, they're terrified?
Yes, but don't worry. Just get all of the guns in people's hands who know how to shoot guns, and I'll handle this mostly.
He kind of looks at the holster at your hip, and then kind of looks back at you. Says, okay. Okay. Everybody listen up. And he kind of gives his whistle like a tweet, and it's very like a very quavering or quivering kind of tweet. He says, listen up.
I put my hand on his shoulder and say, No, you let me handle this. And I cast thaumaturgy and I say, "Okay, everyone, barricade yourselves in, get ready, but don't worry, I've got this handled."
Okay.
You hear that, guys? Cutter's got this one.
I feel like I could take on the whole empire. So they start like panicking and shrinking down into the floorboards between their seats. There's not a whole lot of people that join you with arms. Even a couple of the gentlemen who are definitely dressed in finer attire, who obviously have guns on their hips, they don't seem to be accustomed to using them.
That's fine, I didn't want their help. Okay, go back to the party.
I'm going to, and they came along with you?
I don't know if anyone came along with me.
Throughout the entire train, I'm going to say that there were an additional 2 men who showed up. One of them looks like he's a half-orc, possibly somewhere in his heritage, and the other one looks like he's probably at least half-elven.
Okay. When the elf approaches, give like a greeting. Do I speak Elvish? I don't think I do.
A good number of them speak Durathian.
A greeting. Yeah, I do speak Elven actually. So I'll go ahead and give him like a traditional Elven greeting when he approaches.
Okay. He kind of looks a little shocked for just a second, and then he kind of nods and he gives the appropriate response in Elvish. You can tell it looks like he kind of takes a moment to think over it, as if maybe he hasn't used it in a little while.
Does it seem like
correct
he's
his grammar.
speaking with an accent?
Yeah, he definitely is.
Okay, so he's probably
Sounds like he
not a
comes
native
from.
speaker then.
It sounds like it's probably much more northern based, which is where most of the elves are originally from, at least.
Okay.
There's a town up north called New Lorien. Okay. So everybody make me perception rolls, if you would, please.
Inspiration.
Okay.
What is my bonus?
You know what? I am too. I rolled a 1, so I'm gonna burn it.
You know what? I
Aren't
will
you
do
a-
the same because I rolled a 1 as well.
Mike, aren't you a halfling?
You're right. I'm naturally lucky. Thank you.
I'm not trying to force you to use one of your features or anything.
So I rolled a 3, so I'm gonna use that inspiration anyway.
I got a 9 total.
Okay. So Dariel and Eagle Witness did not notice. And okay, Mad Dog did not notice either. However, Padre Estevez, Joe, or whatever the name is this week, and Brother Cutter, you happen to notice. This is, like I said, a little bit away from the track, and it's kind of at an angle. So the way I was seeing this is, you guys can see my cursor, okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the train is kind of out here. Okay, so you guys are kind of looking at this building straight onto one of its angles, kind of thing. Those of you who I named that succeeded in your perception check, you notice that in these windowed alcoves, these very Gothic-looking sections, there are actually 4 arches. We'll say that this one's one as well. There are bodies hanging, one in each of these alcoves, gently kind of swaying in the breeze.
So first of all, Eagle Witness doesn't notice this because he's talking to the half-orc and the elf about organizing people to come out and move the stones in front of the railroad.
Okay. Yeah, the half-orc at least seems like he's on board with doing so because he's pretty big.
Dariel's in that conversation as well.
Okay.
The Padre will get down off the train and will point at the bodies and say, "We must bury them."
Brother Cutter is going to say, the more I think about it, the more we shouldn't move the rocks, and we should defend ourselves, and then move the rocks.
That's what we will do. They should clear the road, clear the rails earlier.
I shake my head and I say, I don't know. If he goes out and starts moving the rocks, I think they're going to shoot him.
Okay, so who is going where, if there is any going to be had?
I am going to sit back down, block my feet up, and pull my hat down over my head.
Not my problem.
I cast
All right.
prestidigitation to have wind blow his hat off his head.
Okay.
And I say, I was under the impression that gentlemen like you who decided to join the army were not cowards.
I was under the impression you said you got this. And put my hat back in place.
The Padre will call to Joe. "Joe, my son, please help me. We must do something about these bodies."
And I make sure my thaumaturgy off, and it's like, oh no, I was lying to those guys. I just didn't want them to panic. No, we'll probably still all die. I just want to try not to die.
There's one old woman not that far from you, who heard every single word that you just said. She is positively quaking. She kind of gently starts sobbing. She starts like chanting the Lord's Prayer.
The Padre hears that. He'll come up to her and put an arm around her and say, "Do not worry, my child. Come with me. We shall do the Lord's work." And he's going to use her to volunteer to go get those bodies because no one else is.
Okay.
All right, old lady. Help me bury these bodies.
I say, no, that's a good idea. Have her go cut down the bodies, because if she dies, she was old anyways.
So you take this like old woman to go collect some hanged corpses.
And I will tell her the whole way that Luz appreciates her work and that his light will shine down upon her.
Okay. So is it just Padre Estevez and this little old woman who are going to investigate these hanging bodies then?
Oh, no, I'm going to go out there. I'm just pretty sure Cutter is fairly certain that there's going to be a whole army of Durathians who recently killed all the other Durathians, and they're going to kill them.
I'm going to use the distraction to try to get all of the money that we've spent on travel back from the coffers.
Okay.
That's an excellent plan.
Yeah, give me a general stealth check.
17.
Okay. So you have managed to recover a total of 130 gold pieces.
All right.
And I use air quotes with recover. Okay. So, Brother Cutter, Padre Estevez, and the little old lady make the short trek over towards these.
I look at Daryl and I say, Daryl, you're coming, right?
I was gonna help Eagle Witness and these guys move this roadblock.
Oh, you owe Eagle Witness how much money? No, you're coming with me.
Ah, crap.
Wait, I'm going to put my hand on Dariel's shoulder and say, I should go to see if I can tell anything about my people here. You should stay and move the stones.
There are more volunteers who are willing to move stone, just not necessarily gunfight. So none of you have to stay behind to move stones if you want to.
Well, someone. The problem is we need to
guys.
figure out where this ambush is going to come from is the main thing.
Right.
I pointed the structure. Probably there. I mean, if I were going to kill us all, that's where I would be hiding.
That is a strong point. All right,
That's where they're coming from. I'm better up close, so I shouldn't stay behind.
Yeah.
That's fine, Eagle. You might owe me money too. I can't remember.
I'll pay the debt and go with Brother Cutter.
All right.
Okay.
So we're all going to go then?
Well, it sounds like Cutter, Dariel, Padre Estevez, and Eagle Witness, and of course the old lady are going. It sounds like Mad Dog is up to other business, and it sounds like Joe is taking it easy.
I won't be far behind. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll keep a loose eye out, but
Joe,
just a loose one.
Joe, guard these people.
I was going to say, as Dariel and Eagle Witness walk away, Eagle Witness turns to Dariel and says, "See, and Joe's watching them."
That'll work, I suppose.
Okay. So as you guys make this kind of short trek over towards these ruins, at different moments as you get closer, it's going to dawn on each of you a little differently, and some of you it may not dawn on at all. But you guys recognize these bodies, some of you at least. You see the bodies of Virion Zon, Iskander, and Cadwin the dwarf.
Oh.
No way.
Slightly waving in the breeze.
Holy crap.
You also see
Wait.
this sign that has been hand painted on this stone surface right here above where these bodies are hanging from the inside. And it reads, "What is an angel without its wings? Turn back now, cowards."
Oh man. So Eagle Witness is going to fall to his knees and make an eagle's cry again up into the heavens.
Brother Cutter points at Iskander and says, "The Halcyon wasn't supposed to die, unless I'm crazy."
Who was Cadwin again? I'm sorry.
Cadwin was the drunken dwarf.
Yes, he was the dwarf that was with you guys for a very brief period of time, and you and he may not have even actually played together.
Okay.
Derek.
Yeah, it's possible. Where's the bat?
There is no sign of Minerva anywhere.
Oh man. Is all their wait? Do they have all their gear?
Is that there?
They have been stripped of most of everything. They're like even their boots are gone.
Fine.
Everybody, make me a survival roll, please. Everybody that's there. Pardon me. Get that broadcasted.
15.
18.
15, 18,
I got a 6, and I have a +5, so...
11.
No. My total was a 6.
Oh, okay. I catch what you're laying down now.
I don't know what all I missed, but did it escalate to the point where people are caught up, or am I still back on the train?
You may not have caught up yet, but if anybody would like to fill Michael in, then they can absolutely do so.
Hey, Michael, you know those people who used to be Angels of the Gallows?
Okay.
Iskander, that dwarf dude,
Sure.
the druid guy. Yeah, they're all hanging up here. They're all dead. There's a sign that says, "What are angels without their wings?" So, yeah, you know.
Wow.
Bad times.
That's some bad times indeed.
Okay.
Wow.
On the survival checks.
I was not expecting that.
Padre Estevez, Brother Cutter got a 6. Who had the 16? Dariel?
I had an 18.
18, okay. So Dariel, Eagle Witness, and Brother Cutter. Not Brother Cutter, I'm sorry. Padre Estevez. Too many titles. The three of you notice that these bodies seem to have been here for a little while. And there are definitely flies, and there's definitely kind of that putrid smell of a rotting corpse. But what's really weird is that they don't seem to be rotten enough for how long they look like they may have been here. And Dariel, you in particular, you notice something visually that's really bizarre. They look like they're sweating. They have little tiny beads of clear liquid kind of gathered on their skin. And as you get closer, you kind of, rub a little bit of the moisture off, kind of rub it between your fingers and sniff. There's a dawning realization that hits you. You think 2 words. Nitroglycerin.
Oh.
And suddenly,
Everybody get out.
there is a report of a gunshot, and everybody needs to make dexterity saving throws.
Again?
Man,
Everybody except for Joe.
I love you, Jeremy.
That is a totally stolen idea. I cannot take full credit for it.
Yeah, it sure is. But it's a good one.
Did you just watch Westworld?
I am almost finished with it. It is such a
Spoilers.
fantastic series.
But is that where you got the idea from?
Okay.
Yes.
Spoilers. Stop it.
Okay.
Man, I was gonna say if there was an unlimited pause, I was gonna tell him not to go over there, and I was gonna throw a fireball at it.
Well, that didn't happen. So I need dexterity saving throws.
Don't want to make a dick.
I got a 15.
It sounds like I need
People
to
in the
watch
train?
Westworld.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, so we have Dariel with a 12. We have
How many inspiration rolls can we do?
just the one at a time.
Bummer.
Okay, a 12 for Dariel, a 20 for Brother Cutter, an 8 for Padre Estevez. What'd you end up with, Eagle?
15.
Oh, 15, there it is. Got it. And Mad Dog, yeah, you're far enough away that you probably don't need to bother. Well, yeah, no, go ahead and make me one. You can have a +5 again, because you would have been kind of coming up on the scene, but you are definitely far enough out that you would have quite a bit of cover from this.
You talking about
Is this
Mad Dog, yes, sir.
this isn't going to be piercing damage, is it?
23?
It will not be piercing damage.
Okay.
23?
Yes,
Okay.
With the +5.
All right, so everybody passes except for Padre Estevez, Dariel. Oh, the old woman's got to roll.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Girl for her since I brought her out here.
I just rolled.
Oh, God.
I just rolled,
Oh.
and let's see if I can. Yeah, as soon as you guys said that you were bringing her out, I was like, "Oh dear God!"
Shame, Padre. Shame.
She doesn't have to fear anymore.
That's very true.
Shit.
All right.
She's not making it to Timmy's birthday party this year, though.
Well, if you want, part of her can.
Does anyone have diamonds? I could bring her back to life.
I have tons of diamonds, but I need them.
Okay. So, full damage from this as this gunshot tags one of these bodies is going to be 34 points of damage.
Oh, my God.
And this is concussive damage, I guess is probably the best way to put it. As one of these bodies goes off and immediately sets off the second, and that sets off the third, and then that sets off the fourth. And there is an intense explosion that rocks out from this place.
Would that count as an attacker hitting me with an attack?
No, not for this case. It would be more akin to a spell effect.
A spell attack?
It's an attack, though, right?
Not
I'm
exactly, because
I'm
it's,
asking for uncanny dodge.
yeah, I don't think it is though, because I think it's an area of effect. It's not really an attack.
Yeah, that would be evasion, I guess.
Yes.
Well,
that I think would go into it.
When my pocket Bible protects me, I have written down protects against all damage from any one attack once per long rest.
No, if it doesn't qualify for an attack as an attack for Mad Dogs, I would say the same goes for the pocket Bible.
Hey, Padre,
Oh,
do you
bummer.
really think a Bible that can fit in your pocket is going to protect you from several
That's a good point.
Loses.
So what was
Loses
full
magic,
damage
isn't it?
again?
What was that? Sorry.
What was full damage again?
34. 17 is half.
Great.
I assume I'm blown off my feet. I probably fell on the old woman and crushed her.
Very possibly.
She
That's the
nimbly
exact
dodged
same
the
amount of
blast.
damage that the cart did earlier.
Well, it makes sense if I was right up on that I would be blown to hell.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are thrown backwards, scattered, thrown to the ground, singed, pelted with pieces of, you're hoping mostly stone, but probably not. And there's a rather large black plume kind of rolling up into the sky. After a moment, again with ears kind of ringing, you see a couple of the people from the train running over, including the half-orc and the half-elf, looking very concerned.
I very quickly wave them away.
Okay. They kind of see what you're doing, and they stop and kind of crouch in the kind of tall grasses and kind of try to take cover between or behind trees and outcroppings of stone. All right.
Which direction did the gunshot come from?
It definitely came from a decent clip. So the bodies exploded, and you actually kind of heard the report later, just like a second or two later.
So I probably don't know which direction the bullet came from then.
No, I would say you would still have a pretty good indication that it came from, trying to get back to screen share here. So we've got the ruins here and the bodies hanging in these alcoves where they were. Train's kind of out this way. The way I pictured it is there's some more ruins on the other side of the train tracks, and it definitely came from one of the tall points up here in these ruins.
I see.
I was going to be a real bastard and have it be Virian's weapon that some of you recognize the sound of, but I couldn't remember if one of you had ended up with his rifle or not.
You're a jerk.
That would have been the bushwhacker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I put that in my pistol. That's where that went.
Right.
Yeah.
I am a channeling divinity. Does anyone need 10 hit points to get back to mid health? They can only go to half.
I'm up above half now with my lay on hands.
I could use.
I'm above half too. I'm going to use second wind.
3.
Okay, you can have 3 of those.
Suddenly, somebody from the train starts shouting, "Hey! Hey!" You look over and you see somebody standing there waving his arms above his head. "Hey! There's somebody that's running away!" And he kind of animatedly jumping up and down and pointing off in the direction. Looking off that way, you see a plume of dust that's kind of rising up from that direction. It looks like it's probably starting to get smaller.
So horses are still tight.
Yes, they're still on the train.
Yeah.
But I imagine they're pretty easy to get off the train.
Without a ramp, you can do it. It's just you have to kind of take your time hopping them down without breaking their legs.
How far off is the running person from the train?
Being on the train, you have a much clearer picture of kind of what's going on. You see an individual has hopped on horseback and is riding away. And I would say at the point that you are able to pinpoint their location, they're probably about 105 feet or so. We'll call it 100.
All right. Let me double check the range. I'm pretty sure that's in firebolt range, but let me double check it.
Fireball is 150.
Yeah, fireball's 150.
Not ball, bolt.
Bolt.
Oh, bolt.
If my PDF will load, it will.
120.
120. Okay. So if he's within that, Jeremy, well, either way, I'm going to take a pot shot at him, but I've got a shot at hitting him if he's within that.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
You could try and kill his horse instead.
Could, but that's not going to do anywhere near enough damage to kill a horse.
I don't know how much damage your firebolt does.
The attack's 24.
That absolutely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. Kill him.
Uh, 12 points.
12 points. You zing him, and your fireball kind of see it kind of shoot out. It takes a little while to get out that far. It's pretty much right at the range of your spell. By the time that your spell actually reaches him, it might even actually be reaching the edge of the range. But it definitely tags him square in the back, right between the shoulder blades. You kind of hear a delayed kind of ah, and you see him slump over and fall out of the saddle under the grass. The horse keeps on running.
I'm going to send the hawk in that direction to observe as I head that way too.
I am
Your hawk is still up?
It winked out into the domain, so I'll just pop it back in.
Okay.
But yes, it didn't die outright.
I'll snap my fingers, have my owl show up, and send it over there too.
I'm just going to take off running in that direction.
Okay.
It's only 100 feet away. Yeah, I can make it there. And
Well, it's 100 feet from the train.
Eagle Witness
On the
is
other
going
side of the train.
to Strider, which increases his movement to 40 feet around, and then he's going to take off running as well.
Okay. Yeah, eventually, you guys get there. Your birds can see before anybody reaches it on foot that he is kind of lying in the grass. He's kind of crawling, not doing very well, but definitely still alive. And is so whenever those of you get up to him.
I'm going to just hold him in position until the rest of the group arrives with a very vivid description of exactly what Soul Shackler is and does.
Okay. All right. He doesn't seem to have much fight left in him at the moment. He's kind of squirming around, kind of, every time you move him a little bit, kind of trying to, stop the pain that's in his back, searing, probably partially melted some of his clothes to his skin.
I suppose once I get up there, I'm just going to start shouting, "What in the damn hell was that?"
He kind of still moaning and rolling around on the ground. I was hired to stop you. How the hell did you survive?
Eagle Witness
bitches.
by the collar and pick him up and throw him across the dirt.
Okay, yeah, he kind of tumbles and kicks up some more dust.
At that point, the Padre is there.
Okay.
My retort would be, you'd be surprised what a paladin of lose can survive.
Excellent. So that's about the time that Eagle Witness has tossed this guy a couple of feet back into the dirt.
Yep.
And I arrive, having fully healed myself, looking just spick and span. That explosion? That's nothing. You understand the fury of lose?
God's forsaken this place. Just like me. Just like all of you. It doesn't matter what you do anymore. Okay. Yeah, you
I'd
absolutely
like
can
to
do
stick
so.
a piece of dynamite up his ass.
I haven't bent down to punch him yet, and I actually.
All I heard was I haven't been down to punch him yet.
I'm kicking him from a standing position instead.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of catch him right in the soft part of his gut, and he kind of.
I say, hold on, Eagle. That's no way to torture somebody. Who hired you?
And now I'm gonna punch him.
Yeah, you do, and you're pretty sure a tooth is knocked loose. He kind of spits a couple of pieces of tooth into the ground.
And actually, he needs to make a Constitution saving throw, real quick.
All right. What's the DC?
The DC is
Probably
15.
Yeah, I got a 17 on the die.
Bummer. Never mind then.
Okay.
Who hired you?
All right. You're actually gonna let me live if I tell you?
No, but I'll
I'm
kill you
gonna
quicker.
headbutt him.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely broke his nose. There's just red just gushing down the front of his face.
And then I'm gonna stand him up like this.
He kind of looks and he says, I guess I pushed some buttons with you, huh? Savage?
Oh, man. I'm gonna knee him in the gut, and then I'm gonna throw him to the ground again.
Okay.
Wipe my face because I'm salivating about this.
I'm going to use command and say, tell us.
Ooh.
What is the saving throw against it? Wisdom?
Yeah, wisdom.
Okay.
And 13.
Damn, man. This guy, okay, he just rolled an 18 now.
Damn.
Mad Dog's gonna take out a stick of dynamite, and that blood that's running down his face, he's gonna start rubbing the dynamite on that blood to kind of lube it up. And then he's gonna take out his knife, and he's gonna cut the back of his pants open, and he's gonna start shoving it up his butt.
Good gracious. As I warned you, ladies and gentlemen, we do not run any PG shit around here. And with good reason.
Awful.
Here's your prime example. This is the quote that's going on the box.
Brother Cutter puts his hand on Eagle Witness's shoulder and says, that's how you torture somebody.
The Padre will follow up what Dariel said and said, tell us, and we'll cast command himself and me.
He starts screaming in pain. Okay, what was the DC?
15.
15? Okay, he failed that one.
Okay.
So as this is beginning, he kind of reaches his hand back and tries to grab a hold of Mad Dog's wrists. No, wait. Okay, yeah. It was Caldwell, a man named Curtis Caldwell. He told me to stop you at all costs. I did what I was supposed to do, damn it.
As soon as I hear the hiss of the fuse, I run.
Yeah, I like the fuse. Saying no motherfucker blows me up, and I'm gonna step back.
Oh God.
Me too. Did you say you were doing Eagle?
I'm leaving. I was gonna hit him in the face with my tomahawk, but now I'm just gonna run.
Isn't that a ranged weapon?
Yeah, but I mean, he's gonna be blown up. So instead of just running and I'm like laughing, Mad Dog.
Good God, you're all heathens.
Okay, but Brother Cutter said that if he told us, I would kill him quickly.
I would like
still
to
going to
ask
kill him.
Where he got the bodies first.
There is a lit stick of dynamite. There's no time for questions.
I'm still gonna ask it.
Well, in any case, I'm going to shoot Eldritch Blast at this guy's head so that he doesn't die horribly, because he did what I told him to do.
Oh my god. Okay, so I imagine everybody is turning and running, with the exception of maybe Dariel, who's kind of probably doing that backwards hop skip, like trying to ask you questions as he's trying to put himself at a safe distance.
Brother
This
Cutter's
guy-
not even moving. He's not stepping back. That dynamite only explodes like 5 feet. It's fine.
That guy is losing his mind. He is going, and he's trying to like figure out what to do. He kind of takes a step one way and then takes a step another way. He turns towards Brother Cutter, very pleadingly, just tears like streaming down his eyes, and starts to run towards Brother Cutter. Brother Cutter pulls out his fake gun or his finger, whichever he uses.
Fake gun.
His fake gun, and zips Eldritch Blast at this guy. It tags him right between the eyes. He stops screaming and kind of freezes up and starts to fall over, and just about the time that he's at about a 45-degree angle. And for the second time in half an hour, Brother Cutter is covered with pieces of person.
Yeah.
I put my gun away. I look at myself and I say, I bet if I walk in, all of those civilians would be scared shitless. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna just walk back to the... I'm going right back to the fucking train.
Okay. And as we see you guys heading back towards the train, as some of the people have stopped for the second time while they're moving rocks off of the track to look in the direction of the sound of an explosion, the camera kind of pans out and away from the train.
But they hears the Padres say to Mad Dog, "I assume the contract has been broken."
What contract?
With Caldwell,
Do we still have to give him the shield?
I would say no to that.
And as the camera kind of pans away and up, we see the train sitting there, still smoking out of its stack, while the rest of the track is cleared, and the remaining members of your group starts to congregate back at the train, and then we fade to black.
Can I have my get back to the train scene first?
Yes, in the black, after we have faded to the black, we hear "Ah!" Just scream.
It's the end credit scene.
No, I get back to the train,
It's
and
the
I
end
cast
credit
thaumaturgy, and I said, "Told you I'd take care of them!" And I stand there heroic and gory.
Wonderful. So that is all that I had planned for this current session. We will have one remaining session, ladies and gentlemen. That will probably be in January at some time. So yeah, I appreciate anybody who may have tuned in during this broadcast or later on. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you didn't lose your lunch at the last part of that. But yeah, and thank you guys very, very much for playing once again.
Yeah,
And,
always.
Lots of fun.
Good. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it still.
I love Mad Dog.
We're going to go ahead and end the broadcast, but before I do, I'd just like to say that until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.